Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. 4 people so far. How are you all doing this evening? Give me a comment here. Just make sure you can hear and see me. That always helps me get a little confident and comfortable that I'm not talking to myself. Hi, Dr. Lund, aka Psychology Noir. Interesting topics lately. Yeah, I appreciate the work you're doing lately. It's not like the world doesn't give you plenty of material to feed off of. That's for sure. Well, it's only Tuesday, and here we are. Hey, Small Axe, Quick Spec. Yeah, it's been an interesting week already. So I think I put in my thumbnail. Yesterday was Bob Marley's birthday. I think that got lost on a lot of people, and that was probably no coincidence to why they released the UHQR of Exodus by him by Analog Productions, which has come and gone, so to speak. Hey, from New Zealand. How are you, Jonathan? Yeah, so that was, I wondered about that as that date approached, if, because I knew Chad had one more Marley in the can to come out. And well, it went in, well, let's see, it went, I guess, about a little after 8 this morning. It was sold out, and it went up about, 2 o'clock the day before. So about 18 hours or so. And then on the Marley site, the 500 that they got that they could sell, that they were gone in literally in minutes, I guess. So there he is, concert buddy. How you doing? I don't know if Jason's out there. If you want to join me, anybody wants to join me, I'll put the link up here. And here you go. You got in there, huh? Small X, good. Yeah. Yeah, I did. It was a battle. It was a battle. And, trying to go to the site and then, getting errors and then having to come back and refresh. And, that certainly does cause a compounding of the issue. But the bottom line is that the quote server, the system doing the web transaction for the sale, certainly couldn't handle the load. There's no doubt about that. So, and I think Concert Buddy, I think you got one as well. You and I were texting a bit back and forth during the actual siege of the server and trying to get through on the phone lines. So it was quite the ordeal. And yeah, okay, great. Yes, Beck, you saw that run came up. Oh boy, Homer, I wonder how much business Chad lost because of that. Boy, that sounds like a really deep question that might involve some deep thoughts, as they used to say. And I'll leave it at that. As many of you probably saw or know, a little bit of an encounter this morning on the old Rachel's Ghost show on this topic. But, for me, some of you don't know, but I mean, I have a really strong IT background. I've run IT for a major corporation out of Europe and, data centers here locally. So, I mean, I've got some expertise. I'm not going to say I'm the expert. I have expertise, and I have worked as a IT manager. I've managed 14,000 laptops and mobile phones across the world for our group. I've set up a data center. So, I mean, I have a little bit of experience in that. Again, I'm not saying that I'm an expert. I have a fair amount of knowledge, but obviously there were issues with what happened. And certainly, I'm not covering for anybody. I call it like I see it. And it doesn't take a genius to know there were major problems. So, yeah, I saw that on the Maria's channel. I commented, and I think he pinned my comment. He or she, I guess it's a he. But you know, um, yeah, you did. Was just reading about folks online had confirmed orders only to see them show back ordered now. So yeah, it's interesting to go and look and see what you see. I honestly hadn't looked, to be honest with you. Um, Not because I don't care, but just because there's other things going on, of course. So let's see what mine shows. Mine was order into directly in there, so uh, over the phone kind of order. Yeah, mine doesn't show because I didn't order it through the website. I ordered it through the phone, so I don't know if that makes a difference. But anyway, I've got an order number that was sent to me, so I've got that. So just go with the flow. Yeah, I think when an item isn't available to ship, back ordered is kind of the way the system flags it. It just means now the one thing that was confusing is that a lot of us saw, FedEx by February whatever date, your shipping might have shown, but the actual release date or drop date of the product is the 23rd, as I saw online when it was first put up. So my point is, it's going to be X amount of days after the 23rd that we get the product. So yeah. So yeah, a back ordered status just means it's not available to ship, and it's kind of a flag in the system. So yeah, good point, Small X. I'm going to highlight that because I agree. They're still very mom and pop. It's about passion, and you're right. I mean, um, and that's why Chad says people don't know how hard this is. I mean, what he means is, there's a lot of balls to keep in the air. And frankly speaking, the systems they have are adequate for 99.9% of the time that they're operating. I mean, so it isn't like it's problematic. It's when they have these releases like Steely Dan's and the Marleys, and it's all roads intersect into the same traffic point. It's no different than it is with cars, and the roads can't handle all of that capacity. And so, just as difficult as it is to get the paving of lanes when it comes to the paving of lanes for the highway, it's similar here. I mean, but they could get ahead of their infrastructure deficiencies. The technology is there; they could outsource it. They don't have to insource it. Um, I'm not sure what kind of bandwidth they have coming into their facility. They're in Salina, Kansas. I mean, I've got a gig fiber connection at my house. I don't even know if they have a gig, for example. I mean, I don't need a gig, but I have it. But again, if the server can't handle all the calls coming in for the orders, and that system can't, the CPU can't process it, or if it doesn't have solid state drives and it's running the old spinning drives, I mean, there's all sorts of bottlenecks, that can occur in a system. So that's kind of the way it is. I'm sure they're unwinding a bit, right now from to going through the orders they have and what's been met and where they're at, and I'm sure they it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't have some timing issues to where someone got an order and it seemed they got the order, and yet another order had maybe supplanted it in time. And did they really hit their 3,000, or did somebody on the tail end, maybe think they got it but missed it? Now, one of the ways you can calibrate that is to limit your initial offering to, let's say, 2,500 through the website, and then get through the noise of the day, and make sure everybody's clean and clear who put in orders that they've got those. and then you can say we're going to have a few more available at a certain time and drip those out or whatever. I mean, I know they do make some overruns for any defects or anything, in terms of the return. So there are some overrun allowances. If they're 10%, I don't even think they're that much. But anyway, so I think you're probably okay. My suggestion to people is give it a day or two, give them a call and just confirm the status of your order. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I wanted to give them some time to breathe. Chad launches at 2:00 right after all of his customer support people have come back from lunch, so they're ready to go. But he said he had 6 people. Now Chad said in texting, because I did text him during the time when they were struggling some, and he did say this is the most overwhelming that they've had in their history that he could see in terms of time and quantity and how much he really believed it was going to sell out in a day, and he in this case was right. So a lot of FOMO, I guess, about this one. That's a fear of missing out. FOMO, for any of those who might not know what it is. I just want to clarify what that means. So anyway, for those of you, like I said, who put the order in and have any concern, like I said, give them a little time to decompress, but, call them and they'll tell you the status, and they're great about customer service. So, but, give those folks a thank you and a pat on the back for the hard work, because that's a heck of a rush that happens when those things happen, as you might imagine. And they probably hear, a lot more anger than they do thank you. So it's not an easy job being on the front lines of that. Let's see what you said here. Whenever you pre-order from them, it says pending for about a day, then goes back to back order. I think the pending has to do potentially with like the credit card validation potentially, or that kind of thing. Because I know on the other end of a credit card transaction, you'll see a pending. So that may be the handshake on the financial side that's occurring. Anyway. Yeah. FOMO can be, hey there, Jason. How are you, my friend? I put up the link. If you do want to join, you're more than welcome. Anyone's more than welcome to join. I've called this the drama-free zone, and got castigated a bit for it today, as if every place is the drama-free zone, and we know that's not always true. But and again, what I know, I say. In other words, if, like I just told you about Chad, what he said, I mean, if I know something, it's factual. I'm going to say, I know they're making 3,500. I know 500 is going to Marley family. I know they repressed a QRP and they're selling 3,000. Those are facts based on, I think, videos as well as what Chad had told me personally when I was there. So, but if someone's asking my opinion about, do you think they lost any sales? Well, I think they might have, but I'm not thinking it's that much. But I don't know. Nobody knows, and the person asking the question doesn't know, and they know you don't know, really. I mean, let's face it. I don't have any kind of nuanced way to know anything. I'm a person. I'd really wish I knew how many of Can't Buy a Thrill they've already sold, so that I could perceive when the 2x45 RPM non-UHQR might be released, or if there's a chance of getting it released. I would love to know that. I have no idea. My contact with someone like Chad or anybody is to try to help provide more, information and answers. And I've asked questions based on others asking me. And I'm just like a conduit, as I see myself. I'm not, I'm blessed to have had the opportunity to meet him. I'm blessed that worked out. And I'm not going to hoard that, and I'm not going to take advantage of it either. But I really feel like sometimes people, either through misunderstanding or jealousy or whatever, really, want to kind of put it on you. And I'm, I hope I don't come across as acting like I know everything, because I don't, and I never will claim to. What I know, I say. This is something I know either from personal experience or seeing it or hearing it firsthand, but I don't want to misrepresent anything that I think. So, okay. Um, I'd have to look at that, Adam, because I thought he said he had to sell out of the run, and I thought that Can't Buy a Thrill was a 15,000 run, because I know Asia's 20,000. But if he said that, that's great. That's great. That's good news. I'm all for the cheaper version getting out there as soon as possible for those of you who didn't want to spend the 150 for that. I get that. That's okay. I mean, I really wish it would be sooner rather than later. So I mean, I'm not like somebody who says, I'm a UHQR bigot and I don't want anybody else to get it until everybody's got, I don't care. What I care about is that we get the music as soon as we can. And for my case, I wanted to get it quickly because I wanted to hear it. And like I said, I'm not the youngest guy in the world, so I'd hate to sit on my deathbed and think I should have bought that Steely Dan album. Oh my God! I don't want to do that. So, okay, yeah. Well, again, I don't know how many he's pressed of Can't Buy a Thrill. I mean, it's even that. Did he, press 5,000 initially? See what the demand was. I'm not thinking, he went and did all 15,000 right out of the box. I don't think. I mean, because that's there's a certain amount of money you got to tie up, certain amount of inventory you got to tie up, and that kind of thing. So I don't know. Let's see. Can't Buy a Thrill on their site. Add to cart, so they have it in stock. Countdown to Ecstasy. Add to cart. They have it in stock. Bob Marley and the Wailers. Exodus. It now says add to cart. So there's a flash for you. It now says add to cart. So if you did not get one, get on Acoustic Sounds now and order it, because it shows it was literally off the site half an hour ago. Okay. It wasn't the first one on the list was Countdown to Ecstasy, and Exodus was gone. There were 13 products on that page. Now there's 14. So exactly maybe what I was saying is potentially what's going on in the background. They did their numbers crunching. They looked at what was actually ordered, what actually had a validation with a credit card. They went back and said, okay, we really have 2745 valid orders. Now we can sell the rest of it. So, hey, I'm not going to say you heard it here first. I don't know, but I looked, and I can tell you honestly, swear to God, 30-40 minutes ago I was on there because I was going to take a screenshot of it, and it was gone. So I had to go to a screenshot I had taken before. So there you go. Mine says add to cart. Let's see. Yeah, well, I can share a screen on this stupid thing. So let me try and do it. Window. There we go. So I hope you can see that. You can see add to cart. Mine doesn't say back ordered. Let me refresh my screen. Control F5. Still shows it. Add to cart. Okay. I do Control S5 because that does a dump of the cache in the background. F5 doesn't. Anyway, so back order just means that it's not available. It's not gonna ship immediately. That's all that means. That's all it means. because here's what it looked like. I showed it on my thumbnail, actually. Let me go to my thumbnail here. Show it to you. I'm not crazy. I'm trying to go crazy, but I haven't quite got there yet. Let me show you this. All right, share screen. Hi, Jason. I'll get you in just a second, buddy. I see you there. All right, here we go. Let me show you the old Excel window. So that's what it showed like when I made this thumbnail about 8:35, 8:40 p.m. this evening. So there you go. That's what it showed when you, instead of the add to cart, that's what it showed. So if I'm lying, I'm dying. That's all I can ever say. Hi, Jason.
Hey, David, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
You want to see FOMO? This is FOMO.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. Yeah, you're not kidding.
I have to thank, where's Chance of Chance Concert Buddy? He's
Yeah.
the one who kind of like gave me a heads up, and then we were joking. I was like, oh, the FOMO got to you as well.
Yeah, that one just it being Kevin Gray and the tube and coming out of there, I think was a big. Oh, so that's a different one, huh?
Well, no, it's the same. It's just
Oh, it's at the back. I didn't sever the back cover.
everyone
Okay.
always shows the front.
You're right. I never saw the back cover. Thanks.
No
I
one
didn't.
ever
Yeah.
shows the back, which is like what you need to see, right?
She was a delightful a guest with Steve Westman and Kevin. I really enjoyed listening to her. She was very articulate. That kind of music isn't exactly my priority, but I can appreciate it, and I really thought she did some interesting things on what I heard of that album so far. So
yeah, I think some of it's okay. Like it's not gonna blow you away.
right.
Let's see. Chance, can we invite Chance up?
I did. He's welcome anytime.
Chance, did you get your copy? If please write it in the comments or come up. Because here it is. Chance, again, look at this back cover. It's great. It's good.
Yeah.
One thing that people don't show is, did they show this? I don't think people are showing this. Like, this is pretty cool, David.
I saw that. I did see that. Somebody showed it. I don't know if it was Steve or who, but they did.
Yeah,
the actual process.
Yep, nice touch again.
Yeah. See, that goes back to the MoFi days, the early Mobile Fidelity days, where they were giving you. Yeah, that's exactly what they used to do.
So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool for.
He said he can't come on tonight, but must. I don't know what bar he's in, but it's okay. All right. But anyway, so it's so it's exciting having not a new recording method, but an updated recording method, new for Kevin's equipment. And I think that's the buzz, more than the artist, even frankly. That seems to me. But they're going to discover her. She's going to get discovered through this, so that's really good. Yeah. So anyway, anybody again who didn't order Exodus, it's up there. I wondered if this would happen because it's just something that, when your systems are backlog like that, you get some overlap and some you can get out of sync a bit. And so you want to protect yourself a bit for that. So I think that's good. Where did you get it from, Jason?
Music Direct.
MD.
Lucky, just lucky.
Music Indirect.
So I don't know if somebody asked this, like, did you order the Exodus? Did you get a copy?
Yes.
Okay. And so I kind of missed that stuff, like that drama that happened earlier today. Like, did you have any issues? Did you call?
Yeah. Yeah. It was awful. I was, from the minute I got the notification, it was finally through the call bank, someone in the call bank I got through,
Okay.
but it was after closing hours, I might add.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I knew he still had people there. So it was tough. You're on daughter duty. Thank you, Michael. I get it. I understand. I was asked Michael to join us at some point. He will. I'd love to do a sit down with him, actually. So let's plan that offline, Michael. Thanks for letting me know, buddy. Let's see. Bob Bradley video. I did not. Did anybody? Did you see the Bob Bradley video about it?
No. Quick spec.
Yeah.
Did Bob cry? I'm hoping. Please say no. Put it in the comments.
Well, if I recall right, the Jazz Bums, or at least one of the Jazz Bum guys, really didn't care for it very much.
Wow.
But they've got fairly acquired tastes in that realm, I think. So I can get that. I'm a little more experimental. I mean, in terms of, I don't really have a bias about what I like or don't like there. So I just thought it was interesting. So, but what happened this morning really was more initially there was a discussion about the technology part of what happened and whatever. And you're in IT. I've been in IT, but they got onto a discussion about channel rebranding, and Michael 45 brought up the fact that, I probably had the funniest channel name change in history, because it didn't end up becoming shorter than it used to be. And, people gave me all these suggestions, and so I went on just to kind of say, hey, yeah, I know I really wanted to keep my company name in it, and that kind of complicated things. And so I get it. And it's just as funny to me, because I've been telling people I'm just going to change my channel to be called Old Fart Audio. And the reason for that is I was on a stream last week with Chance and some other guys. And I was the oldest guy. I'm pulling out cassettes and old, SideQuest drives for backup and all sorts of stuff that I've had, and mixtapes. And so, I felt like I was, a dinosaur at that point, of course. Chance said, "Oh, welcome to David's museum," So, which is all in good fun. I don't have a problem with that. I like the history I have. I mean, I'm the real deal. I've been doing it since I was 7 years old. I never really stopped, and I'm really glad to see new people in it. Now, some of those new people act as if they've been in it 50 years, but they haven't necessarily. But hey, it's a big tent. Come on in. I don't really, I have no problem for that at all whatsoever. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, that's a Bob Bradley videos on Marley. Okay. Yeah, we're all over the place. Quick spec. Michael said Martoonies. He had too many Martoonies. And you're watching the daughter. Okay. Well, I'm not going to call CPS. But anyway. Yeah. So, I mean, and then what we got into this morning was about basically a question that was asked. I think Wax basically said, how much business do you think Chad lost because of, the volume of server, the volume of load he had where people couldn't buy other stuff? And I said, I don't know. I don't think it's that much. I mean, some, maybe 5%. I don't know. I mean, people come back. And then it was a big argument about, well, that's too easy of an answer. That's, that's an easy out answer. I want to know. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I have no idea what it is. Nobody knows. And he said, well, I wanted to know what, if you knew. And I said, you said, what do you think? So I gave you what I thought, not, what I knew. Thinking has an opinion piece in it as well. Right. So, he said at one point he said, I was covering for Chad, and I'm like, hey, I'm just as much, at ill at ease with their ability to, serve up, a capability when they're selling stuff like that in their phones, I mean, their phones were constantly busy. I mean, constantly busy. Yeah, as a matter of fact, let me show you something. Let me see if I still have it. I hate it when I have a million files.
You know, I think everyone's, because you went there and you met him and he was very friendly, you know, everyone thinks you have like an inside, you know, track, you know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I get that. But at the same time, I really don't. Although I will say, Chad, if I ping him, he does respond, and that's good. I don't abuse it. He was very aware of their situation yesterday and was in the bullpen with his customer service people. So, as I said, he said that really took off more than anything they've done before.
Oh.
That was his comment, and I think the proof is in the outcome, right? I mean, let me see if this will play. I don't know if it'll play or not. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can share this. I'm not great at this StreamYard stuff yet, so you guys got to give me a second. Sorry. Presents video file. Yeah, I think that works better. Where's that at? OneDrive documents. I don't know how Rachel balances all these balls in the air when she does this, but it's I guess once you do it long enough, right? I guess it's like everything else.
So I think I was like playing with StreamYard too. It's like what you want to show, what you want to display. You know, I don't know how many monitors you're using, you know.
One, unfortunately.
So we need to do a GoFundMe for the David audio exclusion.
I've got him. I've got him.
At Acoustic Sounds, and today is an exciting day. We're going to be releasing the Bob Marley Exodus on UHQR. We're only making 3,500 of these. This is such a great album. It probably only lasts a couple hours, so I suggest if you're really interested in this album, buy it right away. But it's up to you. Again, I think it only will last a couple of hours. It's a real classic.
So what I did is I just overlaid, the audio from me trying to call with his beginning audio, because that was literally my experience after hitting redial. So, so that, their incoming lines were saturated. And probably their phones are on TCP/IP. So internally, if the network's slammed, unless they have a VLAN set up for segmenting, the audio traffic for that, then, that's going to be affected by it too, right? So
yes. Oh wow, I didn't know that. So
yeah, so double entendre. So right, so it's anyway. So that was my little. I said, here's somebody said, what did you experience? I said, well, here's what I experienced. So here's KRWD.
Yep, Chad posted a new video and he was just talking about what happened today and the past UHQRs and,
when did that get released? I missed that.
I think just a few hours ago, I think.
Okay.
And he said something about that, what was it? This was the fastest UHQR to sell out?
Absolutely. Yeah, he told me that. Yeah, he told me that yesterday afternoon. Texted. When I say told me, I mean texted, just so we're clear. We weren't on the phone with him or anything like that, but yeah.
So iHomer is correct. You were right.
Yep, that's right. It has to do with the response of the server itself, right?
Yeah.
Reaching it. Yeah, and responding to it. So yeah, so I honestly had not seen his YouTube video, so I'll definitely have to take a look at that.
I mean, he's very nice and calm about it, which is great. That's what you need to do, right? You don't do the multi-way. That's my bad joke of tonight, right? You have a letter, or you get on like another interview, and then you talk about it. Like, you're not addressing the public. You see, kind of
Oh, he did an update video, it's called. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. No, that's very smart. And yeah, I mean, did he say in there that they were going to put some more up on the site, or they had any left, or was
Nope,
that
he said nothing
no?
about
Okay.
that.
Okay. All right.
Just,
Just
just
curious.
he talked about the past UHQRs that are still available, which is like the Hendrix,
Two Steely Dans.
the Steely Dan, and then the Kind of Blue, the 45 version.
Okay.
And everything else was sold out. Yeah, but Chance, that is like wild.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had to understand like Chance, like why did he answer that way? And I had to think about it. It's like if you watch that previous video that he did about all the audiophile releases that he was buying up in the late 80s, early 90s, that's what he's
Yeah.
kind of hinting to, right? To buy it from the second hand. And it's kind of weird. Like I don't agree with it because it's like he said buy it for like over 700. He was bragging about it, right? Like I wouldn't feel good. I'd be like, let's look forward to the new, the upcoming UHQR releases, right? Because if you look at the catalog, I think there was like two that were missing. And, if you stack them up, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
I think the ones that were missing were 9 and 10 or something, or 8 and 9. Those didn't fill in from what's been released already.
Yeah. But they will be in this set that's coming out from the family, right? There's a box set coming out, $450 or whatever, on the Marley
Yeah,
site.
well, I'm talking about like the UHQR releases.
Oh, the UHQR, the numerics. Okay.
Yes,
you're talking about the numeric. Sorry.
Yeah, the numeric is missing like 2 of them. And somebody asked me earlier, and I'm like, well, it's easy. Like I don't know Chad personally, but again, I don't know him, but if I had to make a deal with the Bob Marley family estate, I'm not just going to ask for 2 albums, I'm going to try to get the most, right? So here's my Steve Westerman rumor right here that I would make. I think the next ones would be Kaya and would be Uprising. Those are my best guess.
Okay. Well, that time will tell, like it always does.
I agree. They made it hard. They didn't have to. Because if you look back, and you saw that the Rastaman Vibrations sold out, if I were them, I'm not, I'd be thinking okay, that was an amazing deal. Maybe we should do more or expand the deal better, right? Get some more out there, but they did not. And then we got to this whole Exodus FOMO thing, which, sold out in a matter of hours. Unfortunately.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It sounded like that contract was signed well before the vinyl resurgence.
Yes,
so,
of course.
And the other side of that coin is they've been. I did some reading today on this plant in Jamaica. They've started resurging it back in 2017. So it's kind of been a plan, I think, along that they were going to release some stuff on their own through that process in, once after 2020, after these other things, kind of bled out, so to speak. So I think there's been a 5 to 10 year strategy in this process.
Sure.
Because they probably have more profitability in something local than they do from Chad, for example, I would guess. So this is all just trying to, connect some dots but anyway, again, decisions that are made, years ago compared to what's happened now, I mean, the Steely Dan numbers might not have been as high had that deal been done long ago, for example. But because of the demand, I think they recognized it and were able to take advantage of it. So that's kind of something on the flip side that was able to be positively, because I think they even upped the quantities on some of those very close to, closing of negotiations. So, so it's interesting. Were you able to find out if there was any delay in releasing the rest of the Steely Dan? Right. Well, the SACDs are kind of their own animal because they come from a third party, so they have kind of when they're coming out of their schedule. As far as knowing a delay, I think they had said about 60 to 90 days after each release. So we're at that 60-day mark just about from Countdown to Ecstasy. So my guess is that, Pretzel Logic will probably be coming out within the next 20 to 40 days, I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, March is like gonna be hard for me because like all those jazz releases I'm looking forward to. And if Pretzel Logic comes in March, woo, I've just, given Chad a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he doesn't talk about SACD partly because it's really, he controls his factory and his QR. He can have a lot more control over what happens there. He slots into someone else's schedule with the SACDs and that, and it's not how do I put it? It's a part of the business, but I'm sure the ratio and the margins and everything on it aren't nearly the same. It's offered for those who want it, but SACDs are very good. Yeah, I have the Pink Floyd 5.1. I like it quite a bit. They're made in Germany, I believe. I think, yeah, you're probably right there. I think. I don't even want to think about how much I've spent there. Yeah, well.
Ew, yeah, quick spec. I don't want to know either. Like every time I look at my order history with Chad at Acoustic Productions, I'm like, oh man. Oof.
I think one of my texts to him yesterday was, I wish my wife had this much trouble spending $300 because I couldn't get through. It's like, yeah, she might give up. I'm like sitting on a hot moment, just kind of. I was on like 3 different devices.
Really, you were?
Yeah.
Well, this is funny. So David, like Jose Marino, like he reached out to me and he was, as soon as that video came out, like he messaged me. He was like, hey, did you know? And I'm like, what? Like immediately I go to the website and then order it. And then later I was like, I see the 503. And then again, I work for IT, so I like thought about this, like, is it that bad? And I remember you said something about like it was under like one server, and I'm like, ooh, that's.
Well, wait. What I said, one server.
Yeah, that was
not
like
really a server in my mind, like a rack server or anything.
Right, when you said that, or when I read that, I was like, whoa, I would never personally know. I'd have a couple.
I knew it was going to be a shit show. I knew that. I just
somebody else hosting
unless he changed something. Yeah, unless he changed something. And again, I don't know. I bet it was there in August, so I don't know. But I remember asking him a question about that, and when I and I said, oh geez, that's it's great. It's fine. The problem is, and we've had this discussion in IT. I remember talking to upper management. I said, we were talking about data centers. I said, you never judge a data center when it's up. You always judge a data center when what's going to hit the fan and whether it can perform. That's the measure of it. And the rest is oxygen. The rest is water. It's just there, right?
Yeah, so I could tell you some bad stories, but I won't.
No, I know. I've got plenty myself. But the thing is, and that's what's so cool about things like virtual machines and that and VMs. So you can actually set up and propagate multiple of the same thing and have failovers into the same basic instance. So,
that's the dream.
Yeah. Well, that's the technology's there. Whether it's set up right is the whole issue, right? But again, I saw Mozilla Windows NT errors constantly coming back, from those I was getting errors in their subsystem telling me calls at line 351 failed and all sorts of stuff beyond 503. Yeah, it was it was an experience for sure. But hey, you know,
Can you highlight?
he might have a lot of employees, but when it comes to IT, I think he has one.
Yeah, not good, not great. Can you
And
highlight?
the guy, you know, to his, you know, I mean, he's a guy that deals with the day-to-day kind of problems. You know, I'm
Sure.
sure he's not really a strategy guy or a best technology guy or a,
Mhm.
you know, failover guy. You know, that's, I'm sure that's not, you know, what is, because that's a different kind of discipline, you know, to be honest with you. You can't be competent at all things. And some people are really strong at that. You know, when you go to somebody like whether it's Amazon services or whatever, and you say, I want to make sure I can do X amount of transactions. I have 99.999% uptime. I want to have, and you pay for all that, of course, but you tell them what your expectation is. And, you know, and that's how you get charged and that's how you get sized. And that's the deal. But you got to do it against your worst case scenario, not your best case scenario.
Sure.
That's the key. Well, you
It
know, I know
depends on
what you're
lessons
saying.
learned, right?
Yeah, well, it is, but do people want to spend? I remember doing any number of ROIs or return on investments where I said, okay, so we spend 10 grand more. And then you go look at how much it costs the company for somebody to lose a minute's worth of time in sales or in this or in that, right? And you realize that's really a drop in the bucket, right? But they need those numbers right in front of their face to know that.
So I was going to ask you to highlight KRWD's comment about that. The thing is, you learn to do the best that you can. But I mean, when it's a shit show, then you know, like David said, that's when you're at your worst scenario. How do you know, support and fight back? You know.
Right.
Um,
Well, because, you know, it's the old story. It takes a lot to build a great reputation and about
yeah,
2 seconds to lose it.
sure.
And that really is the shining principle that business people should always take,
Yes.
as I see it. Because, yeah, can you go overboard? Yes. Can you know, I know, yeah, some IT people want you to build, you know, the Emerald City, but we're just talking about sizing for need. And if you size for just your hum day-to-day transactions, then you're going to, when these things come up, you're going to get hit. There's no doubt about it. Let's see what we got here from Nicole. Hello.
Hey, Nicole. Same thing,
Yeah.
Nicole. Had like this kind of like, you know, rush of a heartbeat, you know, when I couldn't get my order and I see the 503 and I'm looking at my iPad going, 503? What? How many servers did they have? That was like in my head, you know, and then hit the refresh. I think I hit the refresh maybe like 5, 6 times and then I got through. And then it was like, I got through, but that's weird. It didn't feel right. And then I got
Yeah.
the email confirmation. And then I'm like, well, I guess this is it, you know?
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate that kind of promo. You hit the sub button. Yeah. And yeah, whatever. Yeah. I'm almost at 2000. I'm at like 1918 or something like that. I'm almost at 2000. So very grateful. Very grateful. Let's see here.
So
I
this
wonder how much.
one, let me address this one. They're not getting it. Like Michael's not hosting that. So that was only for US, like on the Acoustic Sounds website.
Yeah.
So that I'm part of the OBC and a lot of people were bummed out by not able to order it from Michael, his Shopify account. So
Yeah. But never fear, Michael has his copy coming.
I can't comment on that.
I think he said that this morning,
Oh, he
actually. So
did.
I
Oh,
think he did.
oof.
So I think yeah. Yeah, I think I heard him say that because I think he was asked, you know,
Well,
and
go ahead.
he probably will do a review on it and Chad will use it. And, you know, that's kind of been the, you know, what's happened.
The
And okay. No, I just always hope that people's objectivity remains just that, you know, that's the only thing about it.
well, it's kind of funny. Like when he went on the live stream, because we have like a kind of like a chat, channel where we all where our OBC members will chat. And he was asking me, are you going to come up? Do you want to come up with me on Rachel's show? And then I was busy working because that show's in the morning for me. And I was like, I don't know, that's not really what I want to do right now. But when I saw you, Michael 45, and then you getting into something with Rob, and I was like, this is because I know, I don't really know you personally, David, but you're a very amazing person, very, soft-centered, and, you wouldn't get upset, and Rob was making you get upset. And I'm like, this is not good. I better come up and try to push that away.
Well, I appreciated you coming up because it was really like a shining light because, I mean, here's the thing. I don't really like to be there in the middle of all those kind of things.
Yeah.
I was trying to answer a couple of questions and try to add some value. And then, Rob takes a simple question like, I think it affected his sales. What do you think? Do you think it affected? And turns that into a whole castigation of my credibility and my sincerity. And, and then I get on him and say, I don't, your attitude is just really problematic. He's worked in companies that has IT. Well, everybody pretty much has. So that's not a credit. That's not a credential. And I really wasn't throwing mine out there either. I've said more tonight than I did there, but I just tried to say, that there are in fact things that can be done and could have been done. And it really is a matter of the fact that it's not sized for what they need. And Michael 45, and I were right syncopated on everything. I mean, and he was also like, hey, Rob, all you're doing is just being a bully about things, which is, kind of the shtick, I guess.
Yep. That's part of the reasons why I don't go on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I stayed away for the most part. I thought today because of the, the analog productions thing, but then, he's like, I'm just covering for Chad. I'm like, really? I just said his servers suck. What, I mean, come on. What, I'm not, I don't, I mean, he knows that too. He experienced it. So, I'm about whatever's the real deal, whatever's true, I'm going to say. And, if somebody's going to bully me or make a, something like that, I'm going to come out and going to defend myself because I just feel it's really interesting for someone who has a personality of saying that, he said, I'm arrogant. And I'm like, that kind of calling the pot calling the kettle black a bit there. I mean, I don't try to come off as arrogant at all. I might have some knowledge, but no, I mean, if you take a poll of who's most full of themselves on that show, I got a feeling he'd win.
Can you highlight Nicole's comment?
Sure.
So Nicole, if you're watching, I'm deeply worried, and maybe I can help him. Get some servers in there and set it up right.
No, and honestly, Jason, how do I put it? I didn't want to. I'm trying to find the right words here. I have that background and knowledge and even contacts, but I said it. What I said to him about it was on a very cursory level. I just. But inside I wanted to say, this really is an Achilles heel kind of a situation. And I think there are plenty of people who care about that company who would want to help, either through contacts or whatever. So, hello there, Music Sanctuary. So, and I feel the same way. But to be honest with you, I think he's got the funding to do the right thing. He just has to, prioritize it. And I know the problem with a small company like that is you kind of all roads lead to Chad Kassem, right? You know what I mean? Everything goes through Chad. And, if I ran the business, what I would say is this: I want someone to take the system we have, clone it, put it in a different platform, and I want to see it, and I want them to simulate hits on it, and I want to see what it can take. And then, and only then, will I do something with it. But I would do that. I mean, businesses do that all the time. So that's what I would do. But it's not me. I mean, it's not me.
What I think we'll do, because it was just so bad, just the bad feeling too. Like, I mean, I have to say it again, like Nicole, like what she wrote earlier, like my heartbeat was like, you're kidding. Like, why is this website down? Are you kidding? Like, who's running this? This is amateur, This is not like I'm in the drive-through at McDonald's, amateur show, right? So I don't know, like me personally, I'll probably get some person under my company, probably reach out, explain the situation, and maybe they can reach out to Chad and make, a nice, helpful, suggestion,
Yeah. No, and again, it's not just the server. I mean, there's,
of course.
Yeah. And I mean, somebody made a comment about that. Yeah. And I mean, it's a joke about GoFundMe, but I mean, it's the infrastructure, it's the communication lines.
Yes. That's what the company I work for, that's what they do.
Yeah. That's what they do for a living, and I always, what I talk about a lot is let people be strong in their core competencies, because that's not your core competency. Your core competency is making records, making deals, selling records. That's your core competency. This is just a tool to get you. Now, you can either drive a jalopy and try to get to Chicago, or you can drive an Audi, which is what Chad drives. So, that's all I'm saying. That's all you need to see it as. But when the tool disables your business, now you got a problem. That's the thing. And that's all I would say about it. It's like anything else. It's no different than presses in a process to have throughput to get the job done. It's the same kind of thing. These are all about processes, end-to-end processes that need to be properly, transacted and managed and maintained. But there's enough services out there that they get it. They know what to do. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've got fiber in my house, to the house, a gig. So I mean, that's not that outlandish.
I was listening to Exodus. Like, I take a walk. I live next to a huge lake, and it's frozen, of course, because I live in Minnesota. So I'm walking on top of the lake, which I'm like, this is very uneasy, but it's frozen. But I was listening to Exodus, listened to it twice, and then I was like thinking, man, the B-side, the second side's all like front loaded for sure. Like, just the best songs, hit after hit after hit. And I was like, man, wow.
Well, I did a calculation of the time I charge as a consultant and being on the phone or trying to get on yesterday. That album cost me $725.
Wait, so how long were you on the phone though? Like
from 2 until 5:30?
Really?
Yeah.
And then I think Nicole said Nicole, can you put this in the comments? You were only on for 15 minutes, right? On the website, right, Nicole? Because for me, David, like as soon as Jose messaged me at like 2:03.
Yeah, I got on pretty quick. I mean, I was probably in by 2:10.
And then by the time like I put the order in, and I got the email, that was within 2:03. Like I got it like in 10 minutes. Like I was very lucky because I was able to just like, okay, let me just refresh it, and then when it got through, I was like, like, did I get it? Like, I wasn't sure. And then once I got the confirmation email, I was kind of, man, wow, that was a weird rush, like a weird feeling.
Sure. Yeah, no, it would be. So Music Sanctuary, he said, he told me when I was even there, if he could make more of the Marleys, he would, but the contract was signed back before the vinyl boom. I don't know if it was 17, 18, whatever it was. But, so he went back and tried to open it for more, but it was a no-go. So I don't think he's kicking himself because he could. I mean, he tried. He didn't want it to be that limited, but it ended up being. Time
Okay, so
2:13.
you and I were very lucky, like, because mine was around the same time, and it must have been tough for everyone after like at least like 2:15, 2:30, right? Because
it was out of hand. Yeah, it was yeah. And I had, where I was on the continue to step 2 button where I had already put in my credit card information.
Okay.
And it was HTTP 503 at that point. So I'd have to go back and it would still have all my credit card information in there, which was kind of weird, weird. Usually that drops the CVC number or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know whether I was really, you know what I mean? I don't know. And it was acting odd. It was like when I clicked the button, it did nothing. But if you on Edge, you could see it was still making a call because it shows up a block there on the bottom left. But like on Chrome, you didn't see that. So you just keep hitting it. And that's the worst thing in the world, for the internet. So.
Yes. But I think it's more uneasy, right? It's not necessarily FOMO.
It's the new fun drink. Oh, gosh. Oh, man. Putterman's car was puttering. That's what I say.
I usually say that's our car now.
It's our car.
His car. It's our car.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Austin and repossess it on behalf of the VC. I think he got rid of that one and got another one, didn't he? If I remember right. I think he did.
I think if you go there and meet up with him, then you can ask him, like, can you just take me to this record store? And if he asks why, and be like, no, I have my receipt right here, Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the drop immediately, and unfortunately I was in my bedroom when I saw it. And when I came through the house, I was deterred, or I was delayed. And so by the time I got to my computer, it was 2:15. It was like, oh, geez. 5:30 Central. Yep. Did you do audiophile? Did you do it through the website or through the phone? Just curious. Well, there's so many choices with that one, Revelry. I'm not sure.
There was this parody video. I don't know if you saw that. And
I saw one tonight. Yes.
It was the one with what was it? It's like, Germany 40s, right? Out of Hitler. And he put
that came out a few days ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one was very interesting because like some guy on the Hoffman forums said like he made the video. And I think this is my rumor tonight. That is VC casting that person who did it.
The community casting guy from Instagram.
Because
there's similarities. There's definitely similarities. Yeah.
But their humor was very similar. So I'm thinking like, that's probably the guy. It's very funny,
Yeah. Quick spec. You were very lucky. That's funny music sanctuary. Well, I'm glad you got off my damn video and ordered the stupid thing. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think you should. Oh, I'm going to go back on their site and see if they're still available. Let me do that just for fun. Yes, they are.
It'd be great if they did Shopify or something. Like, I don't know what service that what Mike Ingroove has or something, or maybe we can ask Esposito what he's like, how he handling the website and the orders and whatnot. Wow.
There you go. What are the odds is?
I also heard that did you already talk about this? Like the Bob Marley website also sold out.
I haven't talked about it, but I heard they sold out in minutes.
Yes.
But they allowed 4 per person or per order.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know if I would do that.
I wouldn't say it was I mean, it was, not, the system wouldn't respond and would give you an error. So then you'd have to go back and you hit your back button usually and refresh and try to re-execute or resubmit the form. And then it would try, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it was pretty nasty.
Ooh, really?
His birthday was Sunday. Splurge.
Oh.
You were raging against the machine. Okay.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Yeah, happy belated birthday. And yesterday was Bob Marley's birthday, which is why they dropped it yesterday.
Not, David, I think about like if because Chad made the announcement via the video, right? And
well,
then
that in the email, yeah.
Okay. Yes, but it's like I also think about like the Taylor Swift Ticketmaster thing, because that was announced and then everyone tried to pounce on the Ticketmaster website to get tickets, and there was, another shit show,
Yeah, well, that's multiples exponential type issues because they have a huge server farm all around the world. They do.
Yep.
So there's no doubt about that. But every system has its limits. It's like the DDoS storm, right? It's the same kind of thing.
No. There's no, I mean, they might have put that on the price, Music Sanctuary, but what's going on. It's like they made the order and then now they're just going to throw it on there once they get it and, put it for 1,000. Unless it's a total scam. Yeah, but I mean, Revelry, like you have to think about what Nicole said. Like if it's a big title like Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, you don't want to be in that position where the whole system kind of crashes. You can't.
Well, there's other aspects to this, like backups of the servers and failures. Sure. And I mean, there's other elements of this that are well beyond this demand side that really lead to needing a more robust infrastructure. That's all I'm saying. And part of the benefit would be it could handle these kind of things. I mean, you can even have sliding scale agreements with these companies to where you pay a base fee, but then as you get heavy demand, your cost goes up a little bit because of the high demand. Mm-hmm. So you're not paying for that, that high capability, except when you really need it. It's kind of in reserve. So there's all sorts of strategies here. But you're right. I mean, it is sized for, I was more concerned, honestly, more about backups and failures. And though I really thought about that more than anything at first than I did high demand. Yeah, I agree. He's not worried. I agree with that. That was like what Wax was talking about today. That's I don't think that's that big of a deal. Have they been actually released to where people have them yet? The Jamaican releases? I didn't know I knew you could order them, but I didn't know if anybody was actually able to get them in hand.
It's just announced on like March 24th, I think. And then I think Rob Wax actually told you it's already like David Galloy or something.
Yeah, right. The mastering engineer. Yeah. Yeah, but the plants have been coming back up for several years now.
But I don't think those are going to be, all analog, AAA.
Who knows? Yeah, they don't say, of course.
But they could sound good.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Thanks, Scotcher buddy. Businesses can rent in advance in case. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's the business model. That's what you do. I mean, think about it. You really can't do that if it's in your own environment unless you really have a really tech savvy person and whatever. So like I said, that competence being outside is really strategically important, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I was thinking about Marley's birthday is what I was thinking about. So.
Yeah, that's all KRWD. That's all suspect,
Don't know. Don't know.
That'll be a fun comparison.
Yeah, that will be. Because I think Michael 45 was making some allusions to the Abbey Roads not being that good. Now, I'm not here to say whether that's right or wrong. I don't know.
I think you have to take it by a case-by-case basis. Like, I bought the half-speed masters for the Ziggy Stardust, the David Bowie one, and I also bought one for the
Roxy?
No, I bought it for the T-Rex Electric Warrior, and I compared them to my UK originals, and they did not match up. Like, that's why I kind of like, wait, like, why would you?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's like Talking Heads, only Avalon, I think, sounded really good. The others didn't. So
yeah, it sort of bummed me out, and then I sold them, you know, because they just, I don't know, they didn't have that presence, that that the originals had.
Yeah, the McCartneys were the same way, pretty much.
Maybe. Yeah. Again, like, quick spec, you're right. Like, the half speeds could be hit or miss, but I still think, like, they're affordable, right? And if you're not going to go like out and try to get a UK OG or something, you know, it's
like the Pink Floyd's, the 2016 Grunman. Those are pretty good for the money.
Yep.
For the money. I'm not saying they're better than the others, but for the money, I think they're a good value.
Yep. Ra, you're very lucky.
Yeah.
Oh no, Nicole, stop. No more. Chad's going to take all my money. So it can't be another UHQR, right? It has to be another Acoustic Sounds release, right? Because he's got too many UHQRs, right? If this is Exodus, Pretzel Logic.
Could be Pretzel Logic, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Stop Making Sense. I love that album. It's one of the few live albums that I like because you almost can't tell it's live. You know what I mean? With the incessant audience, noise between tracks and all that.
Sure. I don't know. Like, when I think of like live albums, I think of like the fake live album, which is what Kiss Alive, right? Where they kind of overdubbed it and doctored it up, but it has that energy that like the regular albums lack, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I wonder who's mastering that. If it's Chris Bellman or who's doing that one. I don't.
I mean, the thing is with those like live albums, I'd rather watch it, or watch the band live,
Yeah.
I think of like, I was telling Patrick this a couple of days ago when he was playing Deep Purple. I was like, man, Deep Purple, California Jam, 1974, even though it wasn't like the Mark II lineup, but I mean, this had David Coverdale, Glenn Hughes, and those guys rock,
Yeah.
Those are amazing. And when you watch it, you're just like, I was just so mystified because like, I keep thinking like, man, Richie Blackmore, so underrated. He doesn't get the recognition,
Yeah.
That band was just a kick-ass band. They would blow people away,
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard these Petty Live, the ones he did, was it the University or something like that? That those were really good. They were released in the last 6 months.
Can you highlight Nicole about her Floyd comment? Yeah, Nicole, this is like very depressing, like it's not what it should be,
Well, yeah, they're coming out with the box set and they're coming out with an individual album. I think that horse may have left the barn. Actually, I hate to say that, but go ahead, scream. Yeah, or worse. Screaming is, as long as they can keep what they have in their body in their body, that's good. Interesting. So I got someone who was challenging me on the legal case stuff with MoFi today, and basically said that I said the case was already a done deal. And I said, I never said that. I said it's being challenged in the courts, and so it's going to be up for a hearing on the 17th of February to see if the stay goes through or not. So, I mean, it's all active, but someone just kind of misread it. I don't know why, but it's interesting. Everybody's a lawyer, I guess. What can I say?
Well, they left. Are you talking about like they left a bad comment on your video?
They made a comment and they actually called me.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's serious.
Yeah. So
did you ask if they work for MoFi?
No, I know who they are and who they, they're independent, but
Okay.
yeah. But and I now you said that, I'm glad you said that, Jason, because I sent MoFi an email the other day asking about like 8 to 10 titles that they don't have specifics on the mastering chain that are on the list. And they sent them to me today. I mean, I had my full company information. I had my site. I had everything on there. So they could have easily said, "Oh God, you're the guy doing all of it," but they just sent me the info. So, I give credit where it's due. I mean, they're not ragging on me, but, and I can understand how some people can misinterpret things, and that's all I could say to the person. Maybe you misunderstood. What? Let's see. Oh yeah, 30th anniversary is fabulous.
It's still a good choice, and it's affordable.
Yeah.
Like that one's more affordable. The BG cut's more affordable than the 30th, right? I think the 30th anniversary is selling for what, 100 and plus.
Yeah, I could have bought it for $90 about 6 months ago, but I wish I would have, but I didn't.
It's still out there, I'm pretty sure. Again, you'll have your chance. I mean,
Homer. Oh boy, thanks, Homer. Yeah, so I guess this guy's on the Hoffman forums. I don't follow the Hoffman forums, to be honest, and I probably should, I guess. I mean, I've gone there once in a while, but I guess this is where that sprouted from.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So, and I know you got to be, careful, obviously, with what you say. And I just, tried to give an overview. I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on television. So, but
there's always room for a VC Matlock if it's an opening.
Matlock, I'm that old. Okay. All right. Okay.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Are you going to be my Don Knotts Barney Fife or what?
Sure,
all right. Okay. All right. As long as you're there with me, I'm good.
The Hoffman forums, they're funny. I don't know, like you can get a lot of good information. I think John Bandy talks about. I even think he contributes sometimes on there. I just don't know what his username is, but like iHomer, they rag on people from the vinyl community, yet like they don't necessarily contribute. I think it's easier to be like what I think Beto and his friend did a video, like they call it keyboard warriors or, quarterbacks or whatever, but I mean, sometimes there's just amazing information on the Hoffman forums. Trying to think here, like Mazzy, I don't think he does well on the Hoffman forums.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, Jerry, I ordered the box set. Just in transparency, I ordered it out of extreme curiosity.
Oh, you did order it?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that'll be fun though.
Yeah. So I'll see, because it's almost like some of the information missing is what makes it interesting to me. But anyway, so I don't. I'll see. I'll let you know when I get it.
Quick Spec.
Thanks, Quick Spec. Appreciate it. Appreciate you dropping in. Hey, Mazzy.
Oh man, here he is.
There he is.
You want to invite him up?
Anytime. Let me throw it up there. Yep, I'll throw it up there. Mazzy's always welcome. Mazzy's always welcome. You've been there 14 years, huh, Maz? Okay. So you are the man.
But Mazzy, some of your comments sometimes on there.
No wonder we can't get the copies of the 30th anniversary. Someone there has 5 sealed ones.
5 sealed.
Wow.
Music Sanctuary, it's time to trade up and get your dream record. Don't be holding
Absolutely.
on to 5.
Yeah, share the wealth. Share the wealth. Yeah. Well, I guess strike while the iron's hot with those things, huh? I guess it's, of course, when they're individual albums and they're probably that reasonable at the time, then, it's a smart move. Sometimes you go, if I only knew then what I know now. That's life.
I mean, there's only some records where I feel that way, like, I don't know if you know Rodriguez, the singer-songwriter from Detroit. He has kind of a psychedelic record, Cold Fact. He had that documentary about him. I found that record for $1. The record store owner guy was like, you should buy this. And I listened to it and I didn't like it at the time, put it back. And then he was kind of like teasing me, oh, you just made a mistake, And then he was right, because now that record sells for over $500,
Yeah, there you go. Well, whether Mazzy is on his pajamas, I don't know. He might have a few martinis in him. I don't know. So it kept Michael Nolan off. So I guess.
Well, I was like wondering too, like if Michael Nolan was coming up, I was like actually like thinking about like prepping some questions. I don't know if you had questions for him. I was like thinking like, well, like I'd like to ask him this and comment on his recent video about Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac, yeah, that was an interesting one. Yeah. Here he comes, the man.
Hey, Mazzy, how
Here's
are you?
Hoffman. Hoffman, how you doing, Maz?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Like in my videos, I say what I feel in the Hoffman forums, and I've been there for a long time. Someone mentioned something about I do better than Michael 45. It's not a competition. It's not that. The difference is I've been there for quite a long time, and I feel bad for Michael too, because he should have participated more. But I think people kind of went after him because he started putting his videos there without really joining in on the conversation. And I've been there like 10, 12 years before I even started a YouTube channel. So I think that's the difference. And not that it's one's better than the other, but people get after me. I state my opinion. No, you know me. I'm very opinionated. But so be it. I'm going to always be that way. I always have been that way, and it seems to be working. But it's genuine, whether you like it or not. It's genuine.
I agree. I get you 100%.
Yeah. And I do beat a dead horse. I do admit that, whether it's the boxes or otherwise. I totally get that. And I acknowledge that.
Yeah, Mr. Ed goes running from you. I'll tell you that, because you beat that dead horse.
Right, exactly.
Mazzy, when I see you on your videos and like again on the live stream and the panel, like I can understand you a bit better than versus the Hoffman forums. I think some people in the Hoffman forums don't get it. But
well,
they actually.
The thing is, I mean, not just the Hoffman forums, but like in the peanut gallery too. When you're writing something out, you don't know the inflection. I tend to be. I have as you know, I have a snarky side. So some of my things are kind of jokingly, but you don't know the inflections. So people take things very seriously. If you hear me live, you may or may not, it might be easier to get if I'm being snarky or not, my expressions. But when somebody writes something, you never know. I'm going to get my other computer because I can't see the peanut gallery for 1 second.
Okay. All right. Sure. Yeah, Mazzy's pretty balanced. I mean, I really appreciate what he does. He's more my generation anyway.
I'm gonna come back if that's. I'm gonna turn my iPad off. I'll be back.
No problem. All right. Okay.
I didn't realize his name was Hoffman.
Yeah, I saw that when he.
Oh boy.
Jimmy Hoffman. Put him back. Make sure I put an invite back up here so he has a fresh link. Make it easy on him. See what they're talking about. 2 Led Zeppelin classic. Oh my gosh.
Wow, sealed. That's Caesar. I only had Led Zeppelin 1 classic, and I didn't like it because it was too bright, and I sold it for a lot of money. And I don't regret it because it just sounded different. Like it wasn't my thing. Oh, wow.
Yes, they did. And I answered that, Jim. It's 256. I actually replied to your comment and I pinned that to the review, actually. So I put that up a few hours ago. Thanks for asking. It was 256. And that was one that I asked about. That is one thing I try to follow through when people have something they want to know. There he is, Dustin Hoffman, not just Hoffman.
You sure didn't want to put Steve, you know?
Yeah, that's no. That's
So we have Tootsie here in our midst, right here. We have
who's Tootsie?
Tootsie, you know, Dustin Hoffman. Remember the movie?
Oh, of course. It took me a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No,
Right.
it's okay. I got one word for you, David.
Yeah.
Plastics.
That's it. That's the industry.
You know, from The Graduate. That's Dustin
Right.
Hoffman.
Plastics. You got to get into plastics. Yeah. That's right. First, you can have your way with my wife, and then you get into plastics.
Exactly.
She has all the plastics that you need. Yeah. Yeah, right. He does shoot straight. Yeah, we try. I mean, that's one thing I think all three of us are pretty good at.
Right.
Leland, you can
So
open the album.
I just kind of chimed in. What have you been all over the board, or what's the topic of the evening?
We talk because Jason and I are both have IT history. We talked a little bit about the server issue or the technology issue. Also, by the way, the Marley is up for order still. It came back. Believe it or not.
I actually bought one.
All right.
And I'm, you know me, how I feel about that. However, I'm a big Marley fan, and I love the last one, the record, the music, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't like the price and the box and all that stuff, but I love the record. So I know he's not doing the whole catalog. I think he has 2 that he pre-licensed. So I got it, and but I think he's got his head in the clouds about his website being kind of all wonky, and you can't repair a website like that. It's kind of like a derelict house. At some point, it's more cost effective to tear it down and rebuild it from scratch. He needs to invest in a better e-commerce website. I mean, maybe he won't. I don't know. Who knows? Supposedly they're working on one, but you know, the irony is, I tried for about an hour and a half, and then I gave up. Then I came back about 2 hours again, and it was still a mess. And I went online, and I was in that frozen whatever it was. And then literally an hour later, I get this text message from my bank, Chase Bank, saying you just spent $152. So like an hour later, it went through, and I bought it an hour after everything was frozen, and then it turned out I got a confirmation even an hour after that. So it's kind of wonky, and that doesn't seem to be a priority for them. I know Michael 45 was talking about that thing where they can't really adapt and change it, but they need to do a separate site, start from the beginning, and then replace it, in my opinion. But again,
Yeah.
Well, you have to type your whole credit card number in and all the passwords and all that stuff. You know how Shopify works? You get a code and you do like 4 digits, or Apple Pay, or they need to have that accessible somehow. My opinion.
Yeah. No, I think, the technology changes quite a bit, of course, but I like I told earlier with Jason, my concern about it was not just this issue of peak demand. It's like backups and that thing being in the office. There's all sorts of, small shop kind of things that make worry me, for the business, when you have something that's your bread and butter like that, that am concerned about. So
it's like Hillary Clinton having a server in her basement. That's what he's doing.
In a pizza shop.
wow.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, he would love that analogy, but
I'm sure he would.
Not.
Concert buddy, chat. I was reading your comments everywhere, and you're totally spot on. You know, the Plaid Room, even In Groove, Mike In Groove. I mean, of course, they're smaller outfits, but everything is based in the cloud these days, and it is an investment. It costs money. I keep thinking what they put into. I know that video he did, that promotion video last year, which was gorgeous, beautiful. But what he paid for that, he probably could have got his website rebuilt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, we were talking earlier, there's a lot of us in the VC that have, had experience in this arena. And we kind of cringe a bit because we kind of know, there's companies of lesser import that have better websites, better capabilities, I guess I'll say. And it's unfortunate.
And their search engine. I mean, I always criticize, like going back to the Hoffman forums, they have the worst search. If you try to search a topic, it's horrible. But they're a freebie thing. They're not selling it. So I give them like a pass. Yeah, exactly.
That's good. That's a good one, Joe. That's a
Totally.
that's a good one. It's running on tape.
Yeah, chat. What's his concert buddy? You should be up here talking because I didn't realize you're into the.
He said he couldn't get up. He is. We tried to bring him up earlier, but he said he wasn't in a position to do that. I'm not sure what position he was in, but I'm not going to go there. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the thing is, I always applaud him. It'll sound fantastic. I tell you, the last one sounds great. Do we need it? Maybe not, but I love it. I wanted to do a thing. I don't know if it'll happen. I wanted to do. Did you watch? What's his name? God, who was it? I'm blanking out here. This is where elderly things. I can remember it's 50 years ago, but I can't remember like 4 days ago.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
The Rev, when the Reverend did that thing of the jazz bums and they throw the box off the train. Did you happen to see that?
Oh yeah.
The jazz bums. The train was going through where he lives in Atlanta, and they throw the box set from or the packaging from Acoustic Sounds off the train, like one of those pickups as the train's going by. I thought about taking our box sets. I'm going to throw them up in the air, and the Rev picks them up on his end after the fact. So,
see, I thought you would,
Jason. You need to come back on this. You need to, there's a lot of assholes out there saying shit. So you just got to let it roll off and don't worry about these.
No, I agree.
Bastards.
Mazzy, I just had to take a break, just kind of.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Why was I coming on? Like, do I need to come on, and.
You don't have to, but there's wankers out there doing this shit to all of us on different levels at different times. So that's. You got to try to have it. I'm not going to say you should, but try to let it roll off because they're the ones that are anonymous that aren't coming up and being themselves. So they don't deserve any acknowledgement, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's kind of like stay away. Then you go on there for one day and it's like, here it comes again.
Right. Well, Jason's a good guy and a good soul and stuff. And, people are wankers. They just are, I mean, yeah. I think there's a couple I've noticed in the comments tonight. There's one or two wankers in the peanut gallery this evening as we speak. I won't mention any names.
Well, we're hoping again, Sean, that it'll be lessons learned and they won't repeat this,
Repeat the what? Which part of it? The crashing?
Yes.
Well, okay, look what happened today. I don't know if anyone paid attention. Ticketmaster. They corrected the bullshit that happened during the
Yeah.
Taylor Swift ticket thing, and today was Beyonce, and they did a rollout, and apparently it went fairly smoothly. They learned their lesson. I still think Ticketmaster is a bunch of wankers, but they figured it out. They rolled it out instead of all the billion people at once trying to buy Beyonce concert tickets. So,
and I don't know if you watched the State of the Union address. Our
I did.
president, he made a comment about that, and just people trying to like.
Yeah, I don't want to get in politics here, but I thought he rocked. I thought he was great.
I'm just saying, like, he made a comment about like, again, something failing and need to do better. That's the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if he could just put up a mirror on that one, I think I'd be okay with it. That's my only comment. You got to be able to look at your own house too. That's just, every human being's that way, I think. But Ticketmaster, what did they do different, Maz? What did you perceive they did different?
Apparently, I just heard a little bit. Before, everyone with Taylor Swift, everyone like came in buying tickets for the whole tour, and at once, millions of people. They rolled it out in stages over the different territories, I think, or something. They did it in batches. They had a somehow. I don't know the technology. I don't know exactly. They had a sort of a staggered rollout. They had people who were able to pre-sign up and get pre-numbers, and I don't know if it went perfect, but I didn't hear all the craziness that happened with Taylor Swift. So apparently it was better. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's always good when people learn. That's important.
I remember going back 1972, I waited in line for 10 hours at a department store in San Francisco to get tickets for the Rolling Stone at Winterland. 10 hours, and the Ticketron machine or Bass or whatever it was at the time, broke down. It was a mess. After 10 hours I didn't get tickets. And finally I got them through a friend. But I mean, this shit goes on forever. It's been going on forever, different, obviously, levels of it. And that's when the Stones, that's when tickets were $5.50 to see the Stones at Winterland, right? With Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. But supply and demand is always supply and demand, right? It's
of course
never changes. So technology can change. Technology in some ways can, I say make it worse, but it gets people's anticipation up much higher. You can do it from home, of course. So luck of the draw, more or less. But I do find it really interesting that all of a sudden there's a bunch of, I say a bunch, I don't know how many of these UHQRs are available, but they're still add to cart. So,
so they haven't. Maybe they did an actual inventory and everything.
Yeah, I think they might have stopped it. They might have stopped it before the 3,000. Had the cutoff,
right,
so that they could get their orders straight and figure what went through and what didn't.
That's fair. It was surprising that the Bob Marley site had a limit of 4 per person. Why do you have to have 4 per person? I don't understand that.
Well, that's why it's 700 on eBay, Mazzy.
Yeah. I know that Tough Gong is putting out the whole catalog. I don't know the provenance of those versions, but I mean, they're good records. And even if they're a digital, whatever, I think they're good records and worth having for whatever you can get them for.
I can remember this is funny. I can remember standing in line, Mazzy, when the day Hello Mutta, Hello Fada came out on 45 on Warner Brothers. They charged $1 for that 45. Usually they were like 49 cents. They charged $1 for it. And it was like
Alan
people
Sherman?
were in line for that. Yes. Outside of Chicago. Yes. Yep.
Well, see, that was something that all the Jewish families, they all had My Son the Folk Singer, My Son the Nut,
Absolutely.
My Son the
I've
Celebrity.
Yeah.
I was such an Alan Sherman. And then, of course, Hello Mutter had her father became this huge hit.
Yeah.
Camp Granada.
I forgot about those records. Those things, I didn't even know they were popular. I always see them in the dollar section.
Yeah, well, they were very. I mean, basically, it was what Weird Al Yankovic did, 20, 30 years before. Well, we're 25 years before Weird Al, doing parody taking famous melodies and rewriting the lyrics. That's what he did. And those records were recorded in a small live audience, like at the Warner Brothers studio or Capitol studio in Hollywood. And they were hysterical. They had the audience there. They were great. They're fun records. I have that Rhino.
Yeah.
There's a Rhino CD box that someone gave me of all those records in one Rhino CD box, which is amazing.
I wanted to clarify this. I sent a couple of about back order. That just means it's not able to ship right now. That doesn't mean you can't order it. It just means they aren't in stock to ship. Because if there was a sold out word there, like at 8:40 Central Time this evening, because I got a screenshot of it. So it still said sold out, and then it disappeared for a few minutes, and then it came back. Because there were only 13 items on UHQR, and now they're back to 14. So
Did
they
you
were
buy
doing
one, David?
something. Yeah, I got it yesterday, late in the
Jason,
afternoon.
did you buy one?
Yeah, I was lucky, Mazzy. Like Jose.
So we're
and
all
Mazzy.
We're all victims of the hype here.
Oh yeah. I mean, I knew
Yeah.
Mazzy, this one was going to sell out. Like, I just knew it. I was like, oh, this
Yeah,
is...
and the thing is, in terms of the Steely Dan, I only ordered one. I ordered Asia because that was the first record I promoted when I worked for ABC, and I mean, it's the obvious one. But I have originals of that stuff. I don't need it, but I want to try one. So
Were you able to hear the other ones that they put out already? Like Countdown?
I haven't
Lights?
heard them. I don't really, I have no interest. I mean, if someone's around has one, I'll listen to it. But the ones I have are amazing. So yes, it's kind of like I did today. This Bob Dylan Blonde on Blonde. I don't usually do comparisons and shootouts, and I did it because it's my favorite Dylan album, and I decided I want to do it. And when all is said and done, for me, they all were great. But I still give the MoFi Double 45 stereo the edge for what I enjoyed. But of course, everyone's going to have a different take. I love the VMP, Vinyl Me Please. I love my original mono. I think my weakest might have been my early 70s stereo. But, and I totally forgot on the mono box. It's probably the similar as VMP. But even though I'm not a huge Double 45 person, I do love that Blonde on Blonde MoFi. I think it's amazing. And I know it's digital step, but I still think it's amazing. But it doesn't matter. They're all good. It just depends. It's going to sound different in your room than in my room anyway,
Absolutely. They all do. Yeah, no doubt.
Right?
Yeah. I was going through the list of the MoFi things, and I found it interesting. I think about the only 64, a DSD 64 versus 256 is Blood on the Tracks, ironically. Both releases of that were 64. I don't know if that's because when they captured it, that was the technology they had at the time. I'm guessing that was the case. And then they never got to tape back and upgraded it. It just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
But I've heard it sounds really good, so I don't know.
If you like the record, I mean, the thing is, most of us, and myself included, even though I have multiple copies of my favorite albums, maybe, I don't sit and play them back to back. And if you don't play them back to back, you don't really notice a huge difference unless it's really a crappy sounding record, which aren't that many in my opinion. So.
Wow. So I have like a 2 turntable like DJ mixer setup, Mazzy, and that's why I'm able to just move that fader, the crossfader, and just hear it. I think the only
but that's a different, and that's a fun hobby, but most people don't do that.
I know.
Yeah, that's what I've got too. That's what
I don't do that. I have to take it off, put it on, and I get it. It's a fun hobby, but how many people actually do that, right?
Oh yes, but I mean that's why I had like a lot of DJ friends, and then like when they would come
you
over,
and DJ Shadow are the only people that do that.
I'd be like, they'd come over and I'd be like, you're spinning records. And they're like, what? I'm like, you brought the records. I'm just going to sit here and just listen to you, DJ for me, Yeah. And so that was like really fun.
So is that Dylan box sold out? I'm only
Apparently,
6 LPs into it. That's the 10 LP box, which I love.
Yes.
I've only gone through. It's funny. I did get a week and a half ago. I was sitting at home and I get this text a series of texts for like an hour from Joe Harley because I had talked to him. He's a huge Dylan fan, and he says, "Did you get the 10 LP, box set yet?" I said, "No, it has. Mine's still a few days away." He goes, "It's amazing," and he was texting like literally for an hour, raving about Dylan and that box set. And he says, "Everyone thinks all I listen to is jazz and all this stuff, but I love Bob Dylan. He's the one that said he loves." He said his quote was that the Mo-Fi Dylans crush the originals. I think they're better than the originals. I don't know about crushing, but it's kind of nice hearing someone who was so into all analog saying that he thinks the Dylan Mo-Fi, which are digital, he likes better than the original analog versions. So I kind of agree with him, but I didn't need him to tell me that. But I thought it was fun that he was just on this rant. I don't know if it was a drunk dial or whatever, but he was just texting. But he said, "Oh, the remix and everything. This is Time Out of Mind."
Let me see if I can show this to
What
you.
is that?
Can you see them all?
Oh, is that yours? Are those yours?
Oh yeah.
Those are the Dylan bootlegs.
Yep. So
I love those. I mean,
I was like totally awaiting number 17, like, oh man, can't wait.
I mean, Dylan's outtakes and alternate versions sound so much better than most people's regular versions. It's amazing. If you like Dylan, I mean, it's to me a no-brainer, but yeah.
Good night, KRWD. Sounds like a radio station. I always want to call it.
Like the funny thing, Mazzy, I had to go to my storage space and locate Time Out of Mind. I was like hoping, I could find it and then bring it back so then I can compare it to the remix.
CD or vinyl?
Vinyl.
Because that was hard to get on vinyl.
Yeah, I think I got mine like for cheap 2 years ago because no one's interested. It's kind of like Dylan. He'll go through like these ups and downs where you can get the records, for cheap.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But man,
did Music on Vinyl do one of those? I don't know if they did. I don't remember.
For Time Out of Mind?
Yeah.
No,
I don't think
they did a couple of or I thought they did maybe, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember it, to be honest with you. But
I mean, I know that I went to see him on that tour when he did that, and I brought my girlfriend at the time, and she just hated it. Brian Setzer opened up, and this was when he was like super popular with his, I guess like his swing, and his like horn section and stuff. But that was not a good show. I think that following year, 2 years later, he did Love and Theft, and that was an amazing show.
Yeah. I've seen Dylan 3 times in the last decade, and 2 of them were not very good, and 1 of them I loved. So you never know.
Yeah, it's like hit or miss. Oh wow! So MOV did Time Out of Mind. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that might be the one I have actually, because I bought that on CD initially. That was the last one that he didn't self-produce. Yeah.
Gotcha. Elliot's in the house. How you doing, Elliot?
Elliot?
Elliot, the check is in the mail. Your records are in the mail to you.
Those ones you won at the auction? Or outside the auction?
Yes, the ones that Michael Ingrove didn't buy.
Okay. Not gonna replay any of that.
Wow, the way you said that.
I mean, it's whatever. It happened.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay.
Oh boy.
Like I'm going to turn down. I'm selling records on behalf of someone else, so I'm going to turn down a sale. I learned my wicked ways. I'll adjust it next time. Whatever.
When is your next auction? When is that one?
I don't know. I'm going to see the guy tomorrow to bring him his money. Finally, and I think his wife is old school Vietnamese boat person, and very suspicious of outsiders, and I'm an outsider, but this guy brought me in. So I think once I hand her money from the sale,
All going to change.
I don't. I mean that in a delicate way, but an honest way. I think she'll say,
Yeah.
"Okay, we could trust this guy." But he says he has 1,500. He just separated 1,500 more jazz records. He's got rock records. He's got about 10,000 records. So probably early March I'll do another sale. But I don't know if I'm going to do it as an auction. I got to adjust it somewhat. But the OJC was unique because I'm not doing one label next time. That was like Mike Ingrove wanted that entire label. So it was unfortunate, but whatever, it happened.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work shipping out records, you know?
Oh, yeah, it is.
selling
Oh, I
records.
know. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
That's
I mean,
worst part. It's the worst part. It's terrible.
yeah, I'm not crying like, crying about it, but it took literally 5 days, almost full time, to box everything up, pack everything up, print out the labels, schlep them, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's work intensive. It's labor intensive.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not crying about it. It's not like,
No, I know.
Chad,
But
you don't buy, you cry. What's this term? Buy now, cry later. What is
buy
it?
now, cry later. Yeah. Buy now,
Yeah,
cry later.
okay. It's not like that.
Yeah. It's funny you're talking about Mike, and I was watching. He did an auction this weekend on What's Not, and the outrageous prices. Some of the stuff. I mean, he had some really cherry stuff. Some Mo-Fi Pink Floyd, some UK.
Were
Pink
people
Floyd.
bidding up a lot?
Oh yeah, way up.
Wow,
way up.
See, that's the thing. If I did an auction, they would have gone for more, and Mike would have just outbid everyone because he wanted those records.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So that's not the way to go either. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I've never watched I probably should watch a Whatnot. I haven't watched it.
They can be fun. I think what happens is like Mazzy, like initial FOMO, right? Like a lot of people go through the first hour.
Mm-hmm.
But then you hit this slow spot, especially with Dylan Noble. The trick was to not hit the FOMO too hard, just wait it out. Because I got that Neil Young live at Mazzy Hall for you won't believe this, $26.
From Mike?
From
Dylan
Noble.
Oh, from Dylan. Okay, got it.
And that thing,
That's
he had 3 copies of it, and they were going for I don't know, $50, $60, And then when he put it out again, I think everyone was just really worn out, and that's when I
oh yeah, that's what happens.
Just pounce on that. Give me that, Whoa, Bill.
You see, Elliot says set prices are the best. No matter what you do, somebody likes the other thing. So, if I did auctions, it would bid up. Set prices I personally like, especially from when I did the Coleman's collection. Because also it's easier for me to send out 5 records to someone rather than one. But not everyone wants 5 records of Little Feat. They might just want 2 of them or something, or 1 of them. So I see both sides of it. I don't know. I don't think there's any one answer, right? You're going to piss someone off either way, don't you think?
There's no winning in these things. You know what I mean? There's always going to be people who find it different. Homer, were you talking about Mike on Whatnot getting a low bid on something? I mean, that does happen. I've seen that happen, but not nearly as often as the opposite. But
yeah,
they are ridiculous prices.
You do want to watch that because I did register. Now, let me ask you this: if you're just watching the Whatnot, can anyone do you have to sign in to watch the auctions?
You have to have an account, I think, to watch them. Yeah.
And the account
so unlike YouTube, you can't just enjoy it and watch it without logging in, right?
No, you can still enjoy it. The thing is, when you bid Mazzy, you keep bidding, that timer increases. But if you win it, you're instantly charged.
Immediately.
I understand that, but let's say I want someone who doesn't want to buy, the guy I'm representing in a way.
You want to be entertained.
He wants to watch it, but he's not going to buy. Does he have to register to watch it?
I think so.
You see what I'm asking?
I thought I did. I thought I did.
You need to have an account. But the cool thing is when you register for your first time, usually these bigger channels will give you a $15, coupon.
Credit.
Yeah, credit. And then you can just, that's a pretty good score. $15.
Yeah. I think this guy I'm selling for just wants to watch it for the entertainment. He's not going to buy anything. That's my point. That's why he
Well,
likes watching YouTube. It's like
okay.
he's getting his thrill watching his records being sold.
Oh, okay.
And I think he just wants to watch. He likes watching me and Coffee Dave or the Doctor or Rob. Actually, I asked him. He says some people were pissed at Rob the Wax doing, going. He goes, "Oh my God, that was the best part of it. He loved it. He just loved the
entertainment.
There's a little bit of exactly. It's
yeah. There's little
people that
shtick
watch.
in that.
It is shtick. I mean, I totally get Rob, and he gets me. We do our Yiddish shtick in a way, and it pisses some people off. All the power. We do it differently, but some people enjoy that. Some people are put off by it. It's just the nature.
It's only when it gets personal, I think, is where I think it crosses the line.
I don't think. Yeah. But there's a bunch of wankers that make these comments too. So.
Yeah, no,
and usually they're the ones that are anonymous, right?
Oh yeah. I'm talking about people on the screen. Like what happened to me today, for example. So
what happened to you? I missed that. What happened to you?
Well, I only went on because they were talking about channel name changes, and Michael 45 said, I had the funniest one because my name didn't really shorten or anything, and I'm laughing at it, and I said, so I went on up and explained it. And then we got to talking about Chad's situation with the server and all that. And Rob made the comment, I think, to Michael 45 and I. But what do you think? How much business do you think Chad lost because of his servers being so busy, like other things? Other people would have bought other things in the meantime.
Oh, right,
and I said, well, I don't think he would have lost that much. I said people probably would come back and then buy whatever they wanted when they wanted. And he castigated me because he said, at the end, I said, well, I'm just telling you what I think, maybe 5%. I have no idea. He said, well, I want to know what you know. Don't you know? And I'm like, no, I don't know. You
Rob
said what
this?
do you think? Yes. Yeah, there's that's Zaria. What is that name of the Stark guy? There's actually an audio of that that he put on that channel tonight. The guy that is, you've probably seen some of those videos.
Yeah, that's a total wanker thing. I mean, come on. If you're gonna do a YouTube channel, be original. Do your own shit. Don't
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple because I've gotten tagged, and so I see the tag.
Yeah,
and
sure.
There was someone in this watching tonight who was
60 viewers
involved in that.
Yeah. So I mean, some of those things can be a bit, offensive, I'd say.
But that's where we're talking, Jason. I let that stuff roll off. Maybe because I've been doing it a little longer, and I get snarky, and I'm self-deprecating in a way, and I get it. People like you or they don't like you, and it's not going to change things. So. But people keep watching. That's all I say. If they watch, all the power.
I mean, I appreciate more of like the friendships that I've made and stuff like that. That's cool. Like Mazzy, I'm going to Den Bosch in April. Like I'm going to meet up with
Den Bosch?
That's the big record show.
Oh, is that the big record show? Right.
Yeah.
So you're not coming to Seattle to say hi to me?
Oh, I will, but probably in the summertime.
Okay.
And then if I do come up, then I'd like to meet up with Harry and stuff. And if you want to get burgers or whatever, I mean, I'm looking forward to the cocktails.
Do you like elk burgers?
More importantly,
no.
Nothing's better than bison, though. Bison is great.
Bison burgers.
I know. Who else is coming up? Do you know Baraka P. Dub Paul?
Mm-mm.
He's one of my favorite channels. He works for NASA, and he doesn't do a lot of videos now. He used to do a ton of videos, and he does a lot of great videos on turntable setups and pressings. Does very produced videos. What a nice guy. He's out of Houston, and he's coming out for some conference in the summertime. So we're going to meet up together. And I love Paul Baraka P. Dub. So it is fun to meet the people like us. We know each other. Like when I met Michael, Poetry on Plastic, 2 weeks ago in Portland. I mean, I think he's such a sweet guy, such a nice guy. And we hung out about 2 days together, and it was really fun,
Yeah.
Elk belongs in chili, not burgers. Okay.
Oh yeah,
It looked like a really good burger, but I had to mock the guy, John. Is it John? For eating that. It just was something to do. Harry's a sweet guy too.
yeah, he is. Yeah, he seems like he is. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the record stores in Seattle. You have like Jive Time, right? And there's another one, Easy Street.
We got Jive Time. We got Easy Street. We got Silver Platters. We got Daybreak. We got Seattle Records. We got what's the one? The other one. Oh God, there's like 15, 20 record stores here.
Wow.
So there's a lot. There's Fat Cat. There is I don't remember. I mean, there's a lot. It's a good record town, but they're more expensive than some places. I mean, Seattle's like San Francisco, like parts of LA. It's not a cheap city, so you might find something here for $20, $25. They can get somewhere else for 10 or 15. It's the nature, you know.
Yeah. Nature of the beast, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's the thing about
Stumbletown Records. Yeah, there's a bunch. There's steady Singles Going Steady or something, which is like a metal punk store. I think it's Singles Going Steady. I think it's what it's called.
I think Simone's comment here is about one of the more accurate ones I've seen.
What is it?
Rob gets way too aggressive and then pretends the person he's attacking is too sensitive and that he did nothing wrong. He's cool and funny, but needs a bit of self-awareness sometimes.
It's all bark and no bite, in my opinion. But maybe because I know him, so you know.
Yeah, I just think he could calibrate a bit.
The Singles Going Steady is still there, Scotty. I haven't been there in a long time. Downtown was it on First? I think I forgot.
Well, I think what Simone said, that's like one of the reasons why I just had to take a break, you know.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah.
And like, I know that like, what is it? Rob, he did reach out to me and send me an email, but I was just like, I don't
And
need
then
to.
he didn't like the fact that you came on the channel and said you got it. And I mean, it's just like, you can't win. You can't win. You can't win.
But that's where like I'm being real. And then if you're playing a character and you can't be real, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like David Mazzy, like if you can't be real.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Loyola, are you in Walla Walla area? Can I go to the wine country and go to your Eastern Washington? I haven't been to Walla Walla, and I love wine. I'd love to go to the wine country.
Yeah, you
Walla
whine on
Walla.
the channel all the time, right?
Is that what you're talking about? Eastern Washington? I don't know how far you're talking
I
about.
don't know where he is.
Sonic Boom, yeah. Sonic Boom too.
Is he not? He's not in the part of Washington that wants to secede to Iowa, is he? I mean Idaho. Idaho, right?
It's a difference, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Spokane. Okay. I haven't been to Spokane in like 40 years, actually.
Wow. I see. Nick Pentazzi, hello. How are you? I just saw somebody said Patrick's channel got taken down tonight.
You probably played some good music for a change. I'm kidding.
He does play good stuff on there.
He does.
Of course he does.
I don't know how he gets away with it, to be honest with you. I will say.
See, if I said that in the peanut gallery, people would take it so seriously. But yeah, I'm just riffing on it, you know.
His channel went down faster than Madonna at an NBA locker room. I'm telling you, it's just something else. Ooh. His show ended. Somebody said it got taken, that it got knocked off.
You might get the overflow. You know how people like walk out and they go to the bar next door. This is the bar next door, next to the venue.
Well, we were at 60. We're down to 56 now. So that's still pretty good if you ask me. Late nighters. So
I get a lot of drunk texts from Nick Fantasy.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Are you serious? No, you can't be serious.
He's a part of my rock and roll fantasy, actually. Didn't you know that?
Like I'll say something on the streams and say something in comments, and the next day he'll call me to apologize. Oh, I didn't really mean that, man. I'm riffing on you.
Well, that story reminds me of, do you remember Dylan's Chronicles where he talks about Bono like texting him and saying something like strange, and then Dylan just like looking at it and just like, do I reply back? Nah, just he won't,
Bono was in the peanut gallery at the Biden thing tonight.
Oh yeah, I did see that. That was very interesting.
He was sitting next to Paul Pelosi.
But he's also sitting next to this kid that I think he had to.
Was he guarding him,
The
or
hero.
what was he doing?
The hero.
Yep.
The one that fought off the guy that killed 11 people in that musical club.
Yep.
The dance
yeah.
club. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Okay.
Just a weed. Sorry, Nick. Okay, weed, whatever. Everyone's got their beverage of choice. I don't really use pot. I don't use drugs anymore, but I do have a cocktail here and there.
Well, that makes me get worried about, because like I went to Amsterdam a couple years ago. Now I'm going back to Amsterdam and then going to Den Bosch, and everything's sort of legal there, But I think
what's legal here? Yeah, I remember like in college, like 1978 is my first trip to Europe, and before your time, and going to Amsterdam and the hash bars and the legal prostitution, and yeah, I'll get it right, Nick. Not that I partook in any of that, but it was around. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
No, I remember because what I loved about it, I was traveling on Europe for 3 months. It was my first time out of record stores and out of the record business, and I didn't have any records, and I was so frustrated. And I remember going to in those days they'd have, like in Amsterdam, this one record store with like 6 turntables. You sit at like a coffee bar, and you could have them play records for you in headphones and buy them or not. And I remember listening to Darkness on the Edge of Town, Bruce Springsteen. I hadn't heard it, and I listened to that. Ry Cooder's Jazz. It was 1978, so a bunch of records there. And it was just so great to hear these, even though I couldn't buy them because I was backpacking around Europe, But just being able to play them there was kind of cool.
There's a question for you, Mazzy. I put up.
As you saw, a second CD compilation of Soda Stereo. I do like it. Someone sent it to me. I'm really embarrassed right now. Somebody sent me that, Cesar, and I can't remember who it was, because I didn't know about Soda Stereo, and I know they're the biggest. Aren't they one of the biggest acts in Argentina? Apparently. Yeah. I do like it. I don't know it I listened to it. I loaded it on an iPod. On my iPhone, and I played it when I was driving to San Francisco last time. I enjoyed it. I don't know it very well, but I enjoyed that. It was like the greatest hits, right? It's the greatest hits one. That's all I have.
Elliot thought he was going to get a humming guru out of the Chinese balloon. Oh, well.
On the morning show earlier, Stunty was making a joke, and then I was just like, we'll see. When I see you in Den Bosch, we'll see what happens.
Are you going to be there with Michael 45? 3 of you?
Yep. So like this year,
I want to see some. You have to do some footage there. Someone's got to actually.
Yeah. We kind of talked about it too, because I want it to be more like fun and stuff. And like I've asked like people from the OBC and even people in the VC here, like, hey, I'm going to be in Den Bosch. Like, if you're going to be around, like I buy the first round of beers, So if we meet up, that's always.
But there is a tradition there, Jason, that you buy the first round of beers.
Yes.
And then you buy the second round of beers, and then you buy the third round of beers.
Like, I know that all the records there are going to be super expensive. Like, I'm realistic about it.
I bet you not everything, don't you think? I think there'll be, there's always records that are affordable. It just depends if you want certain ones, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was like from what like last year, right, when Stunty and Michael they went to the Den Bosch show, like they were kind of looking more at the expensive stuff and things like that. I kind of want to more focus on like, can you get a good deal there? Like not, buy all that stuff expensive. See what you can find. Is it reasonable? Is it worth, taking the time to do it? Because I've been to like along with everyone else, like been to record shows before, but this is like the biggest one, right? Other than
Sure.
maybe like
What I
Austin.
liked about that, Stunty was in a way kind of like Michael 45 seeing eye dog for the record show. He was the one
Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
maneuvering things. And I don't mean that as a diss to anyone. It's just he
No,
knows
he was
he
in his
knows the
element.
routine.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
his
he knows the
element.
routine. 'Cause I don't
Well,
think
it's like
Michael's ever been.
yeah. When I was with him when I was with Stunty in Sweden, he knew, all the places to go and all the people to see. And it
Exactly.
was, I mean, it was great. It was
It's
really
like
great.
me driving around the boys last week. I hate to say the boys, but last whatever it was, Friday, I drove them around Seattle, knew the stores to go to. You know your thing, and you bring people along. So, somebody's good for that.
Yeah. No, he was a great host. And then unfortunately he got sick right after that with COVID really bad.
Where's the record show find records for me? Why would he find records for you, Nick? What are you going to pay him like a
Bounty.
monthly fee?
The SBC, the Stunty Buyers Club.
Yeah, I mean, Simone, that's unfortunate, but the other side is that the knowledge is there. Like if you want to look at the pressing, right?
Yeah.
And you want to make sure like, does it sound good? Is it the one? Like that's where the recommendations, you don't have to pay attention to the price or the value, right?
Right.
But in a way, Simone, like people like pricing their records from Discogs, like that's like a poor move,
Right.
because they should be
You have to
using like
pick and choose. I mean, Discog is like any other store. There's great sellers and there's screwed up sellers, and it takes time, and you have to be patient. You have to ask questions, and I don't know. I feel pretty lucky. I've only bought maybe 150 things off of Discogs ever, and maybe I've gotten 3 or 4 like turkeys that were not what I wanted. And even those, the people made right, I think, every time,
Yeah.
So it's easy to knock on it. You ask the questions. You got to be a smart buyer.
Yeah, you do. And if they can't answer them, then they're probably the wrong seller for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's
to say all Discogs is bad, I think is ridiculous. It's like any store, I mean, people come here and they go, like I said, the Seattle stores are probably more, and San Francisco stores, I'm sure, more expensive than a lot of stores in the country because it's an expensive area here on the West Coast, But I keep thinking, okay, minimum wage in Seattle is $15 an hour. So I know it's not fair, and this is maybe not a fair comparison, but a new record that's $25 to $30 a record, you can work 2 hours to buy that record. When I worked in a record store, I got, I don't know, $3.50 an hour for working. That was like the wage I got, maybe $4 finally. A record was, $5 to $7. So per hour working, it's about the same. Now, I get the whole thing, rents are more and everything, inflation and all that, but really records based on all that aren't any more expensive. It just our discretionary income is not as available as it was
because it's absorbed by
30,
other
40
things.
years ago.
Yeah.
But the records itself aren't really more expensive. And there's so many options now because you can stream basically for free, and which screws the artist. And that's the competition now.
Yeah.
So.
Nice comment, Simone.
Let me show you a record that I got that's I would recommend. Let me go get it. Let's see.
$1,000 for the Beatles mono box. Is that the white Beatles mono box? Actually, that's a
That's
good
pretty
price.
reasonable.
Yeah, that's a lot of shit money. If you have the money, that's a good price for it.
Yeah,
But,
if it's a good, strong, VG plus
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yes.
I mean, it's too bad that we're saying that's a good price, right, David? I mean,
Yeah,
but yeah,
it is what it is. I mean, I've seen it go for 1,500, 1,800.
yeah.
So,
This
Well,
is
that's the
a
thing,
but
Discogs an online thing. There we go. Is that which version is that?
this is the OG, the US.
But okay, that's valuable. I think mine is MOV.
So I was going to compare it. I got the 10 LP like a couple of days ago, and like you, I was pretty much. I opened it up and I was like overwhelmed. I'm like, where do I begin?
It is.
Oh my gosh! Like
I've had people say, "Why don't you do a video?" And I said, I need to digest this thing. I'm not one to just because I got it to be the first one to show, and I need to listen to it.
Let me find that record.
Yeah.
so
I mean,
that's
even the Coleman collection had one of the Beatles monobox, and I sold that for $1,400, and that was almost
back then.
a year and a half ago, whatever.
Yeah.
So $1,000 seemingly is a good deal.
Well, I think Chad had it on his vinyl vault for over $2,000, and it's gone. I think it's gone.
The thing is, there's always someone who will buy something. There's a lot of people who have the money.
Yeah.
It's hard to compete with someone who's making a shitload of money, and for them to pay a couple grand is not a big deal. Now, for us, it obviously is, but there's a lot of people who enjoy music, enjoy records, and have the money to spend. So,
I don't know. My thing is make friends. If anyone ever wants to visit me in Minnesota, then we can hear some rare records. If you want to do that,
Where are you? Are you in Minneapolis?
Yes.
What part?
Uptown.
Okay. I used to go there every year, and I haven't. The last time I was there was exactly the year of the day after Prince died.
Oof.
And I go to the ad agencies, the photo agencies, and do work. And then the last day on Friday, I took a Lyft or an Uber out to a tour of Paisley Park, it was like the year after, and I had a great time. But I used to go there a lot. Years ago, way back in the 80s, I dated a woman who had a house on Lake Minnetonka, so I used to go there quite a bit. So
here's the record I wanted to show. Are you familiar with Petra Haden?
I have that. Coleman made me buy that record.
Oh, come on. This is a great record. Great cover.
What that is, that's an a cappella version of her overdubbing, do the entire Who Sell Out, the entire album a cappella. It's a weird album. Coleman made me buy that record. We were here.
This is so good. I don't know.
I know Mono. Yeah, I did visit Mono. I visited Carmichael Lynch. I mean, I used to work with Carmichael Lynch when they used to do Harley Davidson and stuff. I used to go there all the time. Mono. Did you work for Mono? I did a lot. I mean, I've been doing this for 37 years. I did a lot of work. I used to do Fallon McElligott, and then Fallon in Minneapolis. I'm blanking out the other ones, but I think, what did Prince die? 216?
Yeah.
Or 217? I forgot.
I took the tour there, I think in 2021.
Yeah, I was there. I was probably there in 217 the last time.
I made there was this one area, and then I was pointing because there was this elevator, and I'm like, is that the elevator? And the tour guy just gave me this look like, no, we're going to change this question. We're going to move on. I was like,
Yeah. So there's a sealed mono box set on Chad's site for $34.95.
Wow.
Sealed.
You know who Petra's married to, don't you?
No.
Jack Black.
What?
Shut up.
And you know who Petra's father is? The Hayden triplets?
Yeah,
Charlie Hayden,
yeah,
the jazz bass player who died. I know Jack Black is married to Petra Hayden.
Wow. No, Breakfast Loyal. I'm going to check that out. That's pretty cool. Jack Black. Wow. Man.
I know, right? But he is so musical, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so Nacho.
I mean, Simone, I'm not condoning it. Their prices are outrageous, but remember, they're a business and they're marking it up, and we don't have to buy it. You know, you're better off going singular, but they buy these amazing collections. You know, if the market sustains it, I guess they're selling them. Not defending it, but you know, buying a collection's a lot of work.
Oh yeah. And how many sealed mono boxes are there out there actually? I mean, to buy,
Right.
not many.
Oh, she married to Tanya Hayden. Okay, sorry. Thank you, Loyola. I know she was married. Jack Black's married to one of Hayden's triplets, and the Hayden triplets album, I think, wasn't one of them produced by Ry Cooder, the Hayden triplets, or am I thinking of a different group of triplets?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It can be cheap, Simone, but yeah, it must be the deal that he worked with the guy, that Canadian seller that he bought.
Well,
it
the
from.
other thing is the quality of what you get and what they do to inspect them and clean them. I mean, you know you're going to get a top-notch piece of material. That's because I was there and saw what they do. So you know, go with a known versus an unknown. What's it worth
Exactly.
for you?
And if you have a problem, I'm sure they'll make
yeah,
it right.
big time. Yeah,
My friend, the archivist, just got the new the Acoustic Sounds series Oscar Peterson record that just came out, the one, and it had a big gash on one track and it was skipping. So I took a picture of it. I sent her. I said, "You got to send this back." And she said, "I can't believe I ordered this because she works for Universal and she gets usually 30%. And that's a Universal." But she said, I don't know why I ordered it from Chad. Exactly. So we have to return it.
The thing is, I don't have the stereo of this, you know, so it's not a fair comparison, you know.
It's a good easy record, you know.
Yeah. And that's why I bought it.
It's a quiet record, so that scratch, I'm usually pretty forgiving if it's a couple clicks, but it went through a track and a half, and it's a soft piano record, so it just wasn't happening.
And one
yeah,
thing
Ry produced the triplet. I have that record, the Hayden Sisters.
The one thing I like is, you know, how this is just a single, you know, the original, and then Chad being great, right? This is Gatefold, awesome, the best, nothing like it, you know.
Yeah.
Just great. So, and I listened to it and I was like, this is great. This is cool. It's not under people's radar really, but I think
the opening track is great.
Yep.
I'm just playing around, guys.
Okay.
I wanted to make him big and it didn't work. So,
but one thing I did get that was too much, but I wanted to hear it. It's this bad boy. Like this thing is.
I have that. Is that the pink one or the black one?
It's the black one.
Yeah, I have that exact one. It's great.
It just sounds so good, and I don't know. I was kind of like, what's the word? Shocked, slack-jawed, you know, to hear it and be like, what? And then I was like, man, I hate this. Like, people were right. This is worth the money. This is ridiculous.
And it's digital.
The D word.
Like basically, like, where's my Marley UHQR?
Luckily I bought that when it came out, so I didn't pay crazy money.
Yeah, if I had to pay, but you know, I got a good deal on it, but still, like, it doesn't make sense until you hear it, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I can't believe they haven't put out. He keeps talking about putting out. What's the album that sounds like a Prince album? Vultures.
Vultures, or okay.
That's the best Prince album never put out. You know, it sounds like a Prince album. Midnight Vultures, that one. And it hasn't been reissued, and it goes for crazy money.
Yeah, a friend of mine just got that, I think a couple years ago. It's kind of funny. But like, he also got like a copy. Do you know the Monks? That the black cover, the garage rock band?
I
Black
do not.
Long Time. No? Okay. Well, that's a record.
I know the Monkees.
So the Monks record is like pretty amazing, and then that goes for at least.
Oh, is that the one with the guys with their?
Yeah.
I've seen the cover. I've never heard it. I've seen people show it.
Money, and so my friend called me and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy this from a guy in Germany," and it's like, I think he got it for like 12, you know, and then he was calling me like, what do I do? It's 12. I'm like, all right, I'm going to tell you how to buy this, and how to,
$12 or 1,200?
1,200.
Shit, I would never pay that. I mean,
yeah, but he's like a big fan. But I kind of said to him, like, look, we need like video, you need, audio, you need, the footage, everything, if you're going to pay that much money for this record. Oh man,
That's a string of money.
Nick and Mazzy, buy now, cry later.
We all three of us did. I love that,
Sins of the UHQR, is that?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to do, just because, to keep up with my what's the term I'm trying to say? Keep up with my image. I need to take those UHQR boxes and do something very clever with them. I don't know what that's going to be yet.
Some artwork, huh?
Or send them to Chad with something inside them, or something,
Tell him you
I'll be
graduated
respectful.
from.
I'll be respectful, David. I won't do anything.
You're not going to tell him that you graduated from STFU?
No, I will not. And I sent him a T-shirt with a really nice note. Never heard from him. I all the stuff. I've been totally respectful. It's never been a personal thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. It just was one of those statements, right, wrong moment kind of thing. Just boom.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I've said it so much about my take on things, and I had never met the guy, and just he was heated up before I even opened my mouth.
Yeah, the buns were in the oven long before you said.
And I
anything.
love it. And from my friend Coffee Dave, my friend Coffee Dave had a copy of that Bill Evans box that he has sitting in his living room sealed for 6 years. And I said, "What's that?" He goes, "Oh, it's this Bill Evans thing. I really don't play it." I said, "I want it. I'll trade you something." And so that was before the reissue, and it's so good, and I love it. So,
yeah. Hey, audiophile notes. What album did you order from Better Records? I'm kind of curious. Just kind of curious what you took the plunge for. Yeah, one day when I get a little bit of cash laying around, I'm going to probably take a plunge on one of those just for the scientific evaluation.
Well, Jim from Record Collector Magazine sent me 2 of them to borrow, just to borrow, and I did a video. It was the Zappa Oaxaca, whatever it's called, and
I saw it.
metal. And I had Dave and the doctor here, and we did a shootout, and we listened to it. And in one case, one side of the Zappa was better, but not by a lot. Second side, the opposite was better. I mean, it was really good, but it's basically, the bottom line is no better than a record you may have to get lucky with. So
yeah,
but in theory, you're guaranteed, and if you have the money to spend on it, all the power. But Jim swears by some of them. He likes them. It's out of my interest that I would go there. It doesn't interest me,
Yeah. I mean, part of the thing is the hunt, of course, too, so kind of like people doing that for you, which, okay, if you can afford it, I guess that's fine.
Exactly.
It's a business model. It works.
Well, I mean, I don't want to not defend the guy, but his whole thing is, if you don't like it, you can get your money back.
I don't begrudge him. I mean, he's trying, he has something, he backs it up, and what else can you say?
Right. Unless people are just too embarrassed that they don't want to ask for their money back, or that are a little bit of the FOMO thing where they feel, hey, shit, if I spend $500, it must sound good, and you pretend it sounds good. Who knows?
Wow, really?
So, Revelry, what did you pay for that, if you don't mind us asking? Just kind of curious what that kind of set you back. I'm sure it was, if you found one, it's easy. I found one in Sweden for $40, but it was an accident. $9.99. Okay.
What did you go to Sweden for? What was your?
The company I work for is based in Stockholm. The company that I work part-time for, I retired full-time 21. So they're based there. So yeah, and actually I'm going to Spain next week
Where in Spain?
Alicante on the coast.
On the southern coast?
East coast.
Oh, okay.
East coast. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
So kind of up from Barcelona, probably.
yeah. It's pretty much straight east of Madrid.
Yeah.
So it looks like a nice place. Yeah, I think Simone, I think you're right. I mean, he kind of like Chad's never made a good record and blah, blah, blah. And that's just,
that's a bullshit.
That's hyperbole. That's just hyperbole.
That made him look ridiculous, those kind of statements.
Yeah. I mean, there you go. Sea change comparison.
Yeah,
Do you have that other sea change, Jason?
I actually have the original, but that's not here. It's at a storage.
But you don't have that recent reissue, the regular one.
No, I was going to get that because it's still affordable. So then I'll get it and make that comparison. It'd be a fun video to do. Ever since I joined the OBC, like in that whole thing and started showing records, like some people were like, you should make a video on that. I'm like, oh, okay. And I kind of see where like you can get ideas,
Elliot, are you asking if the new Exodus is still available for sale, or just curious what you're asking there, bud?
I'm waiting for the one I'm waiting for because my bar mitzvah portion in September of 1967 was from the book of Deuteronomy. So I hope Chad puts out Deuteronomy. Shoftim beshatin detilcha b'kol shirecha asher nilotai lohela b'shvet. Anyway, that's my bar mitzvah portion.
So can you highlight breakfast?
Sure.
Comments
in America? Oh, sorry. Couldn't help it. That was my latest video, so I had to.
No, I had not. So the whole OBC thing works is with
Dave who? Can you help clarify?
Dave OG, who is Michael's dealer.
You remember? You remember?
Yes. So I made it a point to join this year and see what it's like, but I haven't ordered anything. I've just watched, and see what other people order. And there's things offered. I think that's when I emailed you, Mazzy, about that whole number system. Make it easier for you,
So you can see what other people are ordering?
No, I can't, but people do share what they do get in from him,
So you're paying every month for doing nothing, kind of like you're paying every month for the last 6 months for Netflix, but you never watch it.
Well, not the last 6 months. It's only been 2
I'm just kidding.
I know what you're saying. But I mean, I have just to see what the pricing is,
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing is for me, in breakfast, if you're listening, it's kind of I'm going to choose a couple of records, one that may be so rare, and then one that's not rare, to basically observe, how this is being priced, because I know a lot of people are into condition, but I think the lowest I can go is probably a VG minus or something, that's the lowest.
Yeah.
And ever since I started using Patrick, his cleaning method, that improved so much of the records and the way you listen.
Who wants $5,000 for a Darks?
I think the Dave.
Wow.
English Dave through Michael.
Wow. I haven't really seen that one yet, Sean.
Yeah, I like the record, but I don't think it's ever worth that much. I can't imagine any record worth that unless it's a stamp. I mean, I don't know. Never mind.
I'm trying to think what's at 5 right now.
Okay. If I had $5,000 to spend on a record, I would pay it, and it'd probably be more than that. I think it's actually went for $75,000. A period autographed copy of Sgt. Pepper by all 4 Beatles, signed at Brian Epstein's house at the party in 1967. That I would pay $5,000 for.
Yeah, and I'd pay $5,000 for the Sgt. Pepper with all the Capitol executives on the cover. I know a guy that has one.
I've heard about that. Or something,
yeah. And
So,
I think he wants $199K for it.
Yeah.
So he really don't want to sell it. That's what he's really telling you.
Maybe there's a thing called the Livingston butcher covers. Alan Livingston was the president of Capitol Records when the butcher cover came out, and about 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, at a Beatle Fest in LA, the son of Livingston walked in the Beatle Fest with either one or two boxes, 25 box count, I think a mono stereo, maybe, I could be wrong, of that his father put in the closet, back of the closet, father died, of the butcher cover sealed, never pasted over. He just put them away. And that's you Google the butcher cover Livingston collection and read about those. Go for like $100,000 now, or $75,000. Livingston butcher cover.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah, there's just, I would never, like, my rules, single digit, okay. 2 digits, what's the title? 3 digits, well, what's the title? What's the condition? And, you know, I could get a steak dinner and like some cocktails with it.
Right?
Right.
I have the satisfaction that I saw Pink Floyd at Winterland perform the entire Dark Side about 4 or 5 months before it came out. Like, I think I saw them in either November, December of 72, and it came out, March, April, May 73 or something. And we didn't know what it was, but they performed the entire Dark Side, you know? So that's a great memory.
Sure.
Yep, Elliot, you know, it's all relative, right? I mean, I don't have it either, but if you were made it, you know, if you had multi-millions of dollars and to buy a $5,000 record, it's kind of like us buying, you know, a $50 book or a $40 book or something.
Yeah, then you get back to how often do you listen to it, you know?
Well, yeah, but then it's
also,
not about that. It's about like buying artwork, you know? Yeah, like buying artwork is obscene, you know, what
I don't
art
do
goes
that.
for. And there's a great documentary I watched about a year ago of this bullshit dealer in New York that was basically selling all these forgery and fake things to these billionaires. It's a great documentary. And they were duped on this really expensive artwork. Did you see that one, Jason?
Yeah, I know about the guy.
I forgot the name of it. Yeah.
Oh boy. 200. What was the title, Revelry? What was the title?
Yeah, I paid, like, for box sets. Obviously, I paid, you know, hundreds of dollars, like the Beatles Blue BC13. But
I think the most I spent, well, aside from the Uber box, which everyone likes to ridicule me for, which hasn't depreciated or hasn't appreciated, but that Dylan Cutting Edge box, the CD box, like 18, it's one of the best investments. $600 goes for about $2,000 now, but I'm not going to sell it. But the most I've ever, and I'm not a flipper, but I did buy that McCartney 3, that 3-man. I woke up early morning and Third Man printed 333 copies of McCartney 3, and they used recycled copies of McCartney 1 and 2, and I bought it for $60. I kept it for 2 or 3 months. I ended up selling it for $2,600 just because it was going for crazy money. And I thought, fuck it. Excuse me, David. But
okay.
But I figured I don't need it for that. You know, people want it, they can have it.
No, I'm not. But I think about it though because of the what's on that, the Terry Callier record. Like, if that thing is remastered well, then it's going to be awesome. Or the Dorothy Ashby record, that's going to be on it. Dang.
Hey, you know, you're talking about if you buy this 1,000 Music Sanctuary, you've ever paid for any records, $1,000 divided by, what is it, 11, 12 records? That's less than $100 a record. Now that's a lot of money, but think of it that way.
Put it in perspective.
The book itself is worth $100.
Oh yeah, I agree.
The hardback book is great. So if you're paying $1,000 for one record, that would be crazy. But you know.
And the other thing is, over time, that probably will still remain the one to have, I think.
Yeah.
So it's.
And Nick, I don't remember the name of that. I think it was either on Amazon or or Netflix. I don't remember. It was really a cool documentary.
Yeah, I wish I had that Abraxas too. I saw it going for like $700 the other day.
Let's see.
Let me show a record for Patrick. He's on here.
Okay.
Let's see here.
I'm trying to see. Let's see.
Oh, where did I see him? There he is.
Because I made Patrick buy that Electric Ladyland box set, and then Patrick, he said this one's good. We're gonna see, Patrick. Honestly.
Oh boy,
So this is the Russian one, Patrick. So
it's very unofficial.
but it should be fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Woo, 250. Well, good for you. That sounds like
Nice.
a brainer. Nice. But
It's a
you
good
read
buy.
it for a year, right? That's 35%, right? If you do for the year.
Hey, Nick, if you're watching, I think the documentary is called Made You Look. Made You Look, a true story about fake art. I think that's the one, 2020. On Netflix, Made You Look. It's great. I think that's the one.
Yeah, Braxis was just a well-recorded album right from the jump. So
I think with that one step of Braxis, that's why I want to go to Arizona to go visit Mike Esposito and Angel, and then like ask Mike, can we go back and listen to that one step of Braxis? Because you want to hear it, right? I'm not going to pay that. I think it's going for what, over 2,000? There's no way, you know.
well, that was one of the first one steps, I guess. So
Yeah.
it was the first one step actually. -001. So.
And I think how many are first? 1,500, 1,000, right? I think that's.
Let me see what my database says. Yeah, 1,500. Yeah. Yep. Sure, it's amazing. I want to hear Vegan's Nightfly on that. I've got the MFSL one, but I don't have the one step. I've come close. Almost got it for 500, but it's up beyond that now. So
Dogs playing cards, Elliot. I do like the Mexican artwork with the not day glow, but the on the felt. What is it called? On the God, like the Spanish bullfighters or the woman with castanets, and it's on a fabric. What is that called? That kind of Latin art, Mexican art. Ry Cooder used it on one of his covers years ago. Jason's the research guy. He'll figure all this stuff out.
wow, I don't know. Quick Spec, I'm not sure where you got it for 140. That's a pretty good deal from what I've seen.
What the 140? What a deal.
Yeah, that's a steal.
Get out of here.
Velvet. Yeah, it's that velvet artwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's say.
Hey, Patrick, the Vinyl Archivist, did you just close your show down normally, or did you get booted? Someone implied you might have got booted tonight. I didn't know. I was curious.
Patrick, you just reminded me when they did the what is it? The Tough Gong. They were trying to reissue Catch a Fire with the Zippo. I remember those orders didn't make it. They had to refund because they didn't press them.
Like this kind of stuff. Was this guy in the Marshall Tucker band? He looks familiar to me.
Alabama, maybe.
But I'm pretty sure he did order a Marley UHQR.
Join the club. Yeah, I was saying earlier that thing's really not released until February 23rd, in spite of the fact that it might have said your FedEx is going to get it to you on February 10th. So,
Right? I saw that.
yes,
That's another
just
mess up. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, just because I had somebody saying, "Oh, wow, just 2 more days and I get my Marley." I'm like, no. If
You guys,
FedEx can
I assume you guys have used either Apple Pay or Spot, or what is it called? Shopify,
Shopify, oh yeah,
where you
Yeah.
want to buy something and you just like, you get the text and you basically
yeah,
automatically copy it and it's gone.
yeah.
They could do
That's it.
something like that. And it's in the cloud, and
Oh yeah,
and
it's
maybe
over
it's
and
something we
done
don't
with,
know
man.
about. It's hard to second guess someone, but it's been a few
Well,
years that people complaining.
the problem is some of those older systems, they tuck you into proprietary databases and then extrapolating that into a SQL database, and that can be a challenge. So sometimes you get a little bit landlocked, and that always is painful when you don't have it in a neutral environment like a SQL
Right.
database.
Right.
That's been what
Cesar
I
or Caesar? Is it Caesar or Cesar? I'm not talking about Diego Rivera. I know Diego Rivera's work, but it's just that velvet kind of paintings that you see a lot in like gift shops in Mexico and San Diego and LA and the Mission District, San Francisco. A lot of those velvet paintings, and I know
Hey,
Diego Rivera's work.
Patrick, I think you go on their site, Acoustic Sounds. I think you can add it to the cart and buy it. I got as far as the credit card a few minutes ago, and I just didn't want to buy another one, but it went all the way through. So it says add to cart. So I don't know. You might want to give it a shot if you're still interested.
Do you have the link for Patrick, or should I look it up?
No, I got it right here. Yeah, I put it in a few times. No, I don't get a cut from Chad when I put his link in. Just so Alex, Dickey, and Wax don't.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah, that shipping thing there is really kind of messed up. I don't really care for the way that's set up, but
Patrick, you can still buy now or cry later, Patrick.
yeah.
By what? Which thing?
The Exodus, like I'm seeing
Oh.
the button add to cart, done deal, right? Still there.
So I can't. Are you gonna guys gonna? Who's gonna be the first person to do the whole 5 books of Moses? Genesis, Exodus, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy. What's the one I'm missing? Come on, help me.
Leviticus.
I used to know them all. I said that Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus,
Yeah.
Deuteronomy, but there's one other one. Oh, there's 2 other ones. There's 6 books. Jabaka, I don't remember. No, I forgot. Numbers.
Numbers.
Yeah, Numbers are one. What's the other one? Numbers and what else?
I
Thank
think
you,
you got
Sam.
them all.
There's 6 books of Moses.
Symbols,
5 books
numbers,
of
and symbols. Numbers and symbols. I
There's
think.
5 books, right? I used to know all the Moses stuff. I mean, I should know that. You're
Holy
right. Numbers,
Moses. Holy Moses.
I shall be released.
Oh, that's right. If you buy more than one, they'll cancel the order. Jeez.
Yeah, the name Numbers doesn't fit in, like Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy. Numbers, really? How does that fit in? That's like the odd man out.
Yeah.
The 5 books of the Torah. There we go. 5 books of Moses, right.
Torah.
Sorry,
What a movie.
it's been like 55 years since I was bar mitzvahed. Is Judges one of them? No. Okay, now we're getting. God damn it.
Judge Judy.
Sean Howard, I think you're thinking of Lawyers is one of the books. Just kidding.
Woo.
Five books of Moses. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let's be official. Okay, it's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. There we go.
Yes, you had
Thank
them
you.
all.
You had them all. You had them all.
I did have them all. Deuteronomy was my bar mitzvah portion in September, so that's what I used to recite from. 5 books
You're
of
a
Moses.
credit to your religion. You're a credit to your religion. I'm telling you that right there.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's from the Torah. Okay. Thank you.
Caesar, it's going to happen. I mean, at least one of them. You can probably get the USOG.
Joshua Judges Ruth.
Nirvana Nevermind. It's out there. You know, the Soda Stereo. Now that's a tough one. I think I told Caesar like last time. It took me 5 years to get it. You know, and that wasn't like an easy purchase.
I don't have any Soda Stereo on vinyl, only that CD.
I think you can get the box set and it sounds fine. But Mazzy, like I would recommend probably like watching the they have like a MTV Unplugged performance on YouTube and it's just phenomenal, you know.
Soda Stereo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So great.
I did see that group. What was the group? I know all Mexican and Latin music is not alike, so don't chill. I mean, I know I'm a white guy, but what's the group that did that great cover of Hotel California?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Welcome to the Hotel California. It's very flamenco-like, and
it was good. It's good.
it was, yeah, it was a moment. It was. I think I have that CD actually. What's it called? Someone's going to tell us, because people out there are smarter than we are.
So Tim P, Music Sanctuary, can you go back to his thing, his comment about having the UHQRs?
Yes.
It's just because some people were into them and some people are not. You know, it's an overdue title, right? The titles, right?
Thank you, Nathan. Gypsy Kings. Thank you, Nathan.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Jason. The other thing is, 150 beans is, sometimes a bridge too far for some people, for sure. You got to really like the album,
yes,
to pay that. That's the bottom line.
I think
I didn't order all of them because I don't like all of them. So
I'm not surprised because, unfortunately, and I feel a little bad, but the timing, all of a sudden, the FOMO thing somewhat dampened. And I guess we're not even in a recession, but whatever we're in, people are tightening their belts. And now the time when you're going to pay $150 for records is like for every Steely Dan record. I think that those days are numbered for now. But remember, remember when Elvis Costello MoFis, you could get those records for like 8 years. They were available, and then they just disappeared.
Ooh, you're kidding. Well, they did reissue those, and I didn't know they were still expensive, but I guess, right?
I blew it. I have the CD set of the Harry Smith anthology, which is amazing. And I remember when I first moved here, like the store had the box sitting there for like 6 months, the various volumes. I almost got them and I didn't, that anthology. So, but the CDs are good, Harry. I mean, Elliot. And that might even be expensive too, the CDs on that.
Well,
yeah, I don't think that super vinyl on any of the labels is necessary from my point of view. Ultra quiet or super vinyl.
Nick Pantazzi, like my bandmate, he got, I don't know, multiple copies of that Kind of Blue UHQR. They were all noisy or warped, and he just got fed up. So he's not buying anymore.
Clarity vinyl.
Yeah, the super vinyls that are in like the median price range, like the ELO Eldorado, the $55 ones, they're a really good value for the money and for the sound that you get. The super vinyl is pretty quiet.
And Dylan Designer too, but that was like what, $60 or $70. That was not cheap, but it sounded really good.
Yeah,
but it sounded good.
Yeah,
the SRXs. I bought those SRXs, MF Music Matters Jazz. those were $60 and they were amazing.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the sweet spot, you know, in the pricing. That's why, you know, if they could get the Steely Dans out with non-UHQR, I think they would do really well.
They must have got, like, it must have been an incredible pricey license for those.
Mm-hmm.
Irving Azov is notorious, and you know, he has the Eagles and Steely Dan, and I mean, and does he have Petty? I can't remember. Maybe not Petty.
But yeah, I mean, it was, and the way they did it, Universal got all the 33s and Chad got all the 45s. So he had to do the heavy lifting, really.
Yep.
So that's the bottom line.
Yeah, like, you know, like
they haven't even come out. They haven't even come out with Countdown to Ecstasy on the 33 yet. Universal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean they're
it's like the Kevin Gray, Marvin Gaye. It's so good. It was like, what, $40, $35?
Yeah.
And there's no better version of that. I mean, I never heard the MoFi, but I can't imagine it being any better.
Well, that MoFi, I don't know. Like, I got the one step, and that what's that?
Is it great?
I think some of the songs sound great. Like, of course, the sequencing is bad, right? Because it cuts off, you know, and you lose that feeling.
Oh, right, it's 45. Yeah, that's not a good album for 45. It's kind of like, I can't imagine. Aren't they doing a 45 of El Dorado?
They did. It just came out. I can't. No, they did 45. I can't see that
because that's like, that record has so much.
It's thematic. Yeah,
exactly.
And it blends. The blends together. It doesn't fit. No, I have no intent of getting that one.
Right. It all segues. It all kind of blends together. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't imagine Dark Side of the Moon as a 45.
Exactly. That's what I just say. Exactly. I'm sorry. Right. That's a bridge too far, because now you're getting into the artwork of the, you know, the actual work. That bugs me.
What's the song on What's Going On? That song called Right On. Are you familiar with that song, Mazzy, with the bass? That thing on the MoFi, the one step, it blows your mind. Like, it's just, you crank it up and you're like, wow, what the hell, you know? And that's where I don't think, like, Kevin Gray can touch that. Like, that's the only thing. But to me, like, now that the one step is out of print and out of the MoFi catalog, what's going on? Like, I say, don't buy it. Buy the Kevin Gray, or buy that live record that Marvin Gaye is doing, like Right On. And that thing's awesome. Just the best.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, we're getting close to the witching hour of rotating to another day here in Central Time. So I've got an early call in the morning. So I appreciate y'all hanging out.
Thank you for allowing me. Thank you.
Oh, anytime, Mazzy. Anytime. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Jason, welcome to have you back. All right, you guys, you have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care, everybody.
See you, David.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.